And it looks like we're live, guys. Welcome everyone to Rant Café, which is a weekly live stream anime podcast that we have on this channel. And usually we talk about just general anime themes, but today is a very, very special day. Today we're going to be roasting that anime snob's novel, Chorrier's Rise, Aaron, Book 1. And yeah, I'm psyched for this. I'm psyched for this. I saw the chat is already psyched for this. Is everyone else psyched for this? I hope you are. Let me know down in the chat. We already have an insane amount of people watching, as I see. Welcome, guys. Joining me today, we have CyanideBlizzard. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing quite well. I tried to put on kabuki makeup to be ready for this. I failed miserably. Sorry.
Sorry.
I also have Briggs from All Day Anime joining me. What's up, bro?
Hello, hello. Pretty excited for this.
And we also have Bryn from Bryn's Fandoms, who is going to be serving as sort of a moderator, kind of keeping us cool, keeping us calm. Hey, Bryn.
Hello. Yes, I will keep all the level-headed, neutral responses. Let's not get too crazy here. I'll mod for you guys.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, the main reason I wanted Bryn to be here is because I know that Snobs fans are used to just watching like Digibro and Snob clips. So I was like, let's give them something nice to look at for once. Am I right?
I'm the girl emoji right here, and I just stand here so that the thumbnail will be me, you see?
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
For thumbnails. Excellent. But yeah, guys, so very excited, very pumped. I don't know what's going on in the chat right now. Welcome, everyone. We're going to be doing the moderator duties. We're right on that stuff. So, you know, as people are trickling in, we're getting ready for this review. And by the way, drop a like, because if we get 300 likes, if we get to 300 likes, I will let that anime snob into this stream. He has been asking for a while. I thought it would be fun just to roast him, kind of, you know, have him in the chat all angry. However, if we get 300 likes, I will let him in the stream, because why not? It'll be fun. Now, let me say a few things generally about the book. I read the whole book, and I will be we can't. Some people were asking me, "Are you going to roast? Are you actually going to burn the book?" We can't. It's digital, but we will, you know, metaphorically roast the book. Now, sir, some things I wanted to say. First of all, you know, before I read the book, it was my favorite book. I was so happy. But then when I started reading it, I realized there were no bankais, 0 bankais. And as a person of plot, I need my bankais. So I was kind of disappointed, guys. By the way, is there any other ThatAnimeSnob channel meme that I forgot? I think that we might have also Snob X Digibro. That's a good one. And I think
we can't forget the favorite live reactor of that anime snob.
Chibi Reviews?
That's right.
Oh.
That's right.
Yes, I didn't mention Chibi. By the way, guys, at the end of this stream, let me know if you enjoyed this Anime Uproar arc on the Snobs channel, or if you think it's just filler while we get to the whole Chibi arc, Digibro arc, the next chapter, and all that kind of stuff.
It's okay. Filler could be good.
Yeah. Are we just filler? Are we just filler, or are we a new stage of that Anime Snob arc? You know, let us know in the chat. Let me see what's going on in the chat, by the way. Can't even follow this shit. Oh, there he is. There he is. That anime snob. I think he appreciates my memes. I think he appreciates it. I see him down there in the chat. What's up, buddy? We'll see. We'll see what happens. So, okay, let me get into this right now. Welcome, everyone, by the way, again in the chat as you're coming in. I want to say, you know, a few positive things, some positive things that I did see in this book. The first is the ambitious world building. I personally thought, and by the way, I'm going to just say a little bit, and then we're going to pass it on to the other guys, come back to me, all that kind of stuff. So I thought the world building was ambitious and the writing wasn't lazy, because I'm a writer myself, and I do know that when you write, you know, you can choose to do a slice of life, you know, high school setting book, you know, using the anime example. It's easier to write. It's easier to write. You don't have to put that much thought into it. You know, everyone knows the setting. You don't have to create the setting. So I will give him credit. He definitely has an ambitious world that he builds, and he's not a lazy writer by any means. Also, as someone for whom English is a second language myself, I write in English, but English is my second language. I definitely want to say that there is no language barrier in this book. The Snob does a great job in this book of, writing well in English. There is no, if you're wondering, oh, I don't want to get his book, I don't know if his English is good. His English is very good. That is not an issue. I have read books by native English speakers that were much worse, and 50 Shades of Grey comes to mind, guys. But yeah, in that sense, no issues. I noticed several anime influences in this book. The world, I thought, was very much influenced by Legend of the Galactic Heroes, except it is a fantasy rather than a sci-fi. But in terms of the whole conflict and the way the world is set up, the different factions, I definitely thought Legend of the Galactic Heroes was a big inspiration. And some will like this, some will hate it. I'm not the biggest fan, I will admit. Evangelion, in terms of the protagonist, we had Chorrier being a pretty big Shinji for most of this book. I don't know, I just kept wanting to say, get in the robot, Chorrier. Get in the fucking robot. And at this point, I want to ask Cyanide, Briggs, what did you guys think?
Yeah, that's a big thing. Is when you think of ThatAnimeSnob, you think of him tearing apart people's books. Most notably, tearing apart Misty Chronexia's book. And now here's the big moment. Put up or shut up. Put your money where your mouth is. Was he able to deliver? For the most part, yes. There were issues, but we'll get into those later. No, that was a big thing. I had actually read some reviews after reading the book, and I saw someone making comparisons to Terry Pratchett's Discworld. I would agree in some aspects. I definitely felt inspiration. Unlike with Animac, I actually felt some of the Western fantasy, high fantasy inspiration in terms of what was used in the book. I appreciated that. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of ambition. It wasn't afraid to try different things and try, despite the fact that I think they may be a little out of range for someone who is I don't want to say really amateur or novice, but someone who's an upstarting author. It's very ambitious. This isn't going to be Lord of the Rings, The Wheel of Time, anything like that. But I do feel that there were moments that were very gripping. Easily by far, I love the Chorrier segments. I love Chorrier. Chore Warrior, Chorrier. I love how the nickname was formed. I enjoyed that. To me, that was very relatable. It kind of was able to plug myself into there for that, and thought it was humorous. Was a nice way to punctuate things. Some of the character developing was also pretty good. So I was pleased. It's not a short book either. It's pretty meaty. So
yeah, it's an ambitious project. So for that, for sure, I respect that. However, I would disagree with you about the whole Chorrier thing. But I see in the chat some people are saying that yeah, Chorrier had to be the way he had to be. I'm not a fan of that type of protagonist. The Shinji type. I'm more of a Kamina type fan, of course. So like Shinji type protagonists frustrate me, but I'll get more into that later. Briggs, to you.
See, that's where I knew we were going to disagree on this, because that Chorrier type of character is all for me. And like, I like seeing someone start off from the bottom and build their way up. And it was pretty cool because it wasn't like the most typical build of the way up. He had some dark moments, like Battle with Darkness, I guess. And I don't know, like the character was like, that type of character is definitely for me. In terms of the story, it took me a while to get into it. It was a little bit of a difficult read in the beginning. Like I had like a week to read it, right? And I could kill light novels in a day or two if I'm really into it, but it does take me a little bit, not even counting the prologue. Prologues are always a little bit boring. It took me a bit to get into it, but once I did get into it, I did start enjoying it. It was just a little bit difficult in the beginning.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to say is this: I don't necessarily read this type of like high fantasy novels in general, so it's not like my field. I've read some of the Game of Thrones books, and definitely see Wheel of Time stuff. I definitely see Cyanide where you're coming from. Like, it's not my preferred read. I'm more read into science fiction, stuff like that. However, yeah, like again, I enjoyed the world. I thought it reminded me definitely of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, of the whole factions fighting each other, stuff like that. However, my problem with the whole Chorrier thing, and this is where I think Snob fucked up. The most interesting character to me at the beginning is actually Damazis, who is the blonde guy who is the apprentice to the paladin. He, to me, is much more relatable. He's much more cool. I would have loved to see a story based on him rather than Chorrier, or at least have Damazis as a sort of companion to Chorrier, for them to be the two main guys, so that Damazis could kind of be like you know, Chorrier, get your head out of your ass, stop running away from everything, get in the fucking robot, Chorrier. Like, I would have liked to see that personally. I think Snob, you need more Damazis in your stories, bro. And it looks like we have 127 people watching. It's like, what?
You got a nice little super chat, I believe.
They want that drama, man. They want that drama. They were like, bro, why are you gonna roast his book? But they all can't look away. That's what it's all about. By the way,
I'm
guys,
more hyped to get to those 300 likes so we can get Snob in the chat. That's what I want.
Yeah,
Let's
Snob
let
is
the
in
real
the chat
roasting
right now.
commence then.
Exiled. He's banished to depth hole. That is the chat. However, if we get 300 likes on this stream, we're gonna bring him into the stream. If he has the courage, of course. I don't know. Will he do it? Will he do it? Bryn, what do you think so far?
So far, so good. I did skim over the book, but not enough to like read through it. But yeah, this is good. We can keep these conversations civil, but yet it's good to discuss about it because, like you said, we can be good about it and just talk and be good.
Yeah, and we got Devil the Rebel donated £2 so that he can say Roastamac, which is Animac that roasts, is on the case. So thanks, bro. Always appreciate your support, donating to the streams, and of course being an active fan and subscriber. We love you, bro. And yes, so Bryn, if you want to scan the chat and if you find some interesting stuff in the chat that you want us to address, you think we should address, do let us know because it might get hard to monitor everyone in the chat. Anything else, Cyanide or Briggs, before we move on?
I'd say I'm ready. People are getting impatient, so they're. But I mean, do we want to give a summary of it? I mean, I don't think we need to give a summary. We're here to roast the book. People can look up a summary elsewhere. Or do you want to break into a summary?
Okay, so we're not going to spoil the ending, and basically, it is a story of a fantasy world, secondary world, so high fantasy, of a orphan who is, who basically doesn't have a family, and he's the errand boy, the guy doing chores for everyone in the village. And all of a sudden, due to a crazy turn of events, he is thrust into this situation where he's actually able to gain power and then has to wield power, even though he very reluctantly doesn't want to wield it. It's almost like there's a metaphorical robot that he needs to get into in order to fight these monsters known as the angels. But anyway, well, I'll stop talking about that. I'll stop talking
we
about
have some suggestions to go like chapter by chapter, perhaps, maybe, or however you would like to go. But that was a suggestion in chat.
So you guys want like a breakdown of the book? Because like the other thing is I don't want to like, go into the whole book and spoil the whole book. But basically, so we have, his rise from being in the village, being nobody cares about him. He's a Shinji type character, right? Nobody cares about him. Nobody. He's just doing everyone's chores. He has a girl that he likes. However, she doesn't really notice him. And even if she did, her parents would never allow him to be with her because he's a nobody. And then he goes on a quest of sorts, but he's an involuntary guy. He's essentially asked to go help a paladin, who is a sort of knight for that world, escort a criminal that he captured to the bigger city from the village. So him, the paladin, and the paladin's apprentice go to the city, and that is Chorrier's first exposition to kind of the outside world. And from there, things kind of spiral into he comes back to he's kind of scared off by the big city. He leaves. He comes back to the village. However, there some stuff happens, and then he has to kind of he finds himself in a situation where he actually is able to take a quest, which is a trial for who can become the next king. Because, and I want to actually talk about this, there is a trial in this world where the one who becomes the next duke or the ruler of that realm must defeat a dragon. So that is the big trial. And basically what happens is Chorrier finds himself as inadvertently being the guy who defeats the dragon. And that's why he, all of a sudden, even though he's a peasant, he knows nothing about this type of stuff, he becomes he finds himself in a position to rule. So I wanted to ask you guys about this whole idea of the trial, which is not, by the way, everything it seems. Like this whole killing the dragon, it's actually not what it seems. So I wanted to ask you guys about that aspect of the story and what you thought.
I mean, I appreciate it. Like, you could say it's cliche, which I guess it is, but I mean, it's the cliche or not is irrelevant. What matters is the execution of it. To me, that's going to be the most important thing. Does it hold my interest? Does it entertain me? And, you know, I didn't mind it personally, but what about you, Briggs?
I thought it was an interesting aspect. It definitely, I didn't see it going down a very like political route when I first started it. Not even political, but like I just did not see it going down that route. And it kind of, I feel like that's when I started to get a little bit more into the series at that point. Not even the series, the book. At that point, but yeah, it was about the halfway point where I was like, maybe even a little bit less, where I started to get into it. And I think it definitely added. I did not see it going down that route. It definitely added to the story. I don't know.
Yeah, I think again a lot of good ideas here. However, it was a bit lacking in execution. So what I mean by this, like for example, the dragon trial. I get what he was going for, and like the whole twist thing. I don't want to reveal it exactly, but there's a twist in terms of like the trial is not actually what it seems. But then there's a bit issues with execution there, because if you look at, you know, it all depends on nobody seeing the dragon's body after it's killed. So why does nobody go back there to ever, once a ruler is selected, why does nobody ever go back there to check if the dragon is dead? Furthermore, how come every time a new ruler is selected, there's a new dragon that appears in the same cave all the time? So that kind of stuff kind of bothered me. I don't know about you guys.
No, yeah, I mean, I get that. But for me personally, and I guess this is kind of a thing of how I viewed the book as well, for the written experience, you know, I would expect certain things to be flaws, such as something like that. It's not any less it's not any less excusable, but nonetheless, it was something that when I did encounter it, I was like, okay, you know, that's sort of a note to make there, is to kind of work on to avoid in future iterations, since this is the first of X amount of books.
And by the way, Snob keeps ThatAnimeSnob in the chat keeps saying every question we have, there's like, that is addressed in the second book.
Well, we're only reading the first book.
Yeah, you can't just say every criticism is addressed in the second book, Snob. Did you think that Misty's excuse was it was only the first episode was good enough? It was only the first episode. You guys weren't supposed to know that yet, huh? You think that's a legitimate excuse, Snob?
I like Born to Run. Snob using the ReZero excuse. It's in the sequel. So no, yeah, I mean that's just it. Like, it's much in the same way when I do first impressions. You know, we're only working off the first book. We're working on what's addressed in the first book and what's handled. So, too bad.
And by the way,
really good after 2 books.
Snob is now saying that Damazis will be the main character in the second book. I wonder why, Snob. Why do I think that this book is not yet written and you're just taking notes right now? Why do I think that? But no, I'm flattered. I'm flattered. And by the way, guys, be sure to check out, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe here where we rant all the time. Be sure to drop a like if you want to see Snob in this stream. And also be sure to check out Briggs from All the Anime and CyanideBlizzard and Bryn from Bryn's Fandoms. All their links are in the description, along with the links to Snob's book if you don't know where it is and you want to check it out. Another thing that I want to talk about. So, okay, so we have the whole trial. So Chorrier inadvertently, by the way, his name is, okay, let's call him Chorrier. Inadvertently, he becomes someone who can rule the realm. And then this is why he becomes involved in these power struggles with different factions. He's faced with the responsibility to rule, to lead. There's all these complications for war. And that is, again, something I respect, because it's true. It's not a black and white sort of story. Definitely Snob has a good understanding that, you know, when there's wars, all sorts of shit happens. It's not very clear who the good guy is, who the bad guy is. All sorts of complications arise, assassination plots, different factions fighting each other, different people killing each other that maybe shouldn't, but it's like they see it in one way, even though you want them to see it in another way. So in that sense, it is a mature way to look at war. However, I don't want to spoil the ending, but with that ending, Snob, you're going to tell me you don't fucking like Code Geass after that ending. Don't even, man. Don't even tell me you don't like Code Geass after that ending, Snob. Don't even explain yourself in chat right now.
That is actually a really good point. No, it's true.
I didn't even think about that connection.
Oh, that's so
amazing.
good.
That is amazing.
Everything always ties back to Code Geass. What's the deal, Snob? You have the podium. Please explain yourself. By the way, this segment is being brought to you by Blue Apron as well as Stamps.com.
This segment is actually being sponsored by Devil the Rebel, who just sent us another £2 donation to remind everyone to drop 300 likes and to not forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot, bro. I appreciate your support. One of our most active fans and members on Discord. I really appreciate that, man. Oh yeah, Snob says there is no Pizza Hut, guys, so it can be like Code Geass. Well,
what was there, Domino's in this instead? You know,
Yeah, just
Subway?
switch the two.
no. What was it? What was it? Baltatoes or something?
oh god.
That's what they're farming, and mushrooms. That's what.
Yes, mushrooms. Which mushroom is also a seasonal year in this, so there aren't normal seasons. Instead, it's like for elapses of time. One of them is mushroom. So
There is.
How do you guys feel about like?
There is no spin Chorrier. Yeah, it's okay, bro. You can talk about all the memes you want. There are plenty of tables, by the way, in Chorrier's Rise.
what's up?
Truth. There are plenty of tables, so it is like Code Geass in many ways. Second of all, as the channel that makes the best Code Geass video in town, bro, don't tell me you don't like Code Geass after me reading this book. That's all I'm gonna say. Briggs, you were saying something.
I was asking how you guys thought about like the point of view perspective of how we wrote the story.
Ooh. Interesting, because I will admit at first you're thrown a lot of terminology and into a conflict with people discussing things, people knowing each other, and then all of a sudden, boom, we then jump over the Chorrier, and it's very multi-perspective, which I don't necessarily mind, but I don't think that the first part was handled very well. That was actually my biggest problem in the book, is in terms of just how it jumped like that. And I mean, that was also the unfortunate part, is I found the Chorrier sections to be more interesting to read. So when you're reading these other sections with these other characters, for me personally, it was like, okay, enough, can I just get back to the Chorrier part? So, because I felt that those were far stronger in terms of also presentation, as well as, for a character that I cared about, because it's a fish out of water character. He's, oh, if only I could do this. Oh, I wish I could do that. Although he does that a little too much as well. I think there's like 3 or 4 sequences in that early part where he's, playing out this fantasy in his head, but it's like, but I can't do that. And I mean, I get it. It's driving home the message. So.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point, because I was going to say early on in the book, there are a lot of these fake outs now that you use. Like, we think something's happening, but it's like, oh no, he's really imagining it. And in literature, that is as cliche as time resets are in anime. I just want you to know that. It is as cliche as time resets. So I don't know what you think about that, bro. But yeah.
I was just gonna say that the point of views, like swapping, was maybe one of the things that made it hard for me to get immersed in the story in the beginning. But I'm not 100% sure if that was the reasoning. But I had a hard time getting immersed in the beginning. It was
for myself. That was sort of the same thing. I wish more time would have been devoted to those sections if we were going to get to know the characters a bit better, so that, okay, well, why are we with them now? Oh, okay, so we see. And obviously, of course, we know that this is generally done for merging paths. Everything's going to collide in the middle at some point. So, I mean, we know that they're eventually going to, all come together. Eventually.
We knew it was going to happen, but at the beginning, it was still kind of irrelevant. It was not irrelevant.
I mean, it doesn't change that. The thing is, it's hard to really have investment, because we're taking a segment with them for a brief period of time, and then we're snapping back to somebody else. Okay, so what was the relevance of that? What
it doesn't have relevance until.
So. I mean, it wasn't necessarily like they were badly written. My apologies, Animac. It wasn't like they were badly written per se, but it's just I felt that there needed to be more to them, especially the first one when you first start off, because you're just basically thrown into it. And then there's terminology that's used and certain things. You're like, what does this mean? What does that mean? I can get a general idea. I don't mind when fantasy books do that, but when it's too much, I find that I start to check out of it. And that's kind of where I was at when I was first reading it. I was like, oh, this could be a really tough read if it continues at this pace. But then it kind of, once it got in the Chorrier, things started to kind of even it back out.
Yeah, and Born to Run brings up a good point. He says, you know, the reason time resets are bad are not necessarily because they're cliche, because they happen a lot, but because they kind of negate the consequences of what's happening. And that is true. That is a good point. My thing with the fake outs is like, it also was kind of like, oh, you think this character is developing? Oh no, he was just fantasizing, and you're just like, fuck off, you know. That was
wasn't one thing, like a kid was reading something. I don't even remember. Like, never mind. I don't want to spoil anything.
But yeah, there's a few sequences where like you don't know if it's being read. It's like a epic battle being read, or if it's like an actual happening, right? So that was like actually the beginning. So even the beginning is a kind of a fake out in that sense, which I think was kind of like overdone. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, yeah, the point of view. So Snob indicates in every chapter which point of view he's following. So if you know the Game of Thrones books, it's kind of like that, which is helpful. However, he then does what is called in literature head hopping. And what head hopping is that even though he's supposed to be following one character, he then goes and you hear the thoughts of a different character. So even though if you're in the POV of Chorrier, you could not hear the inner thoughts of someone else, Snob does sometimes give us the inner thoughts of another character, which is called head hopping because it doesn't make sense from that point of view. Now in anime, this is done a lot. You know, you'll see one character and then you'll see like their inner thinking, and then it'll drop to another one. But in anime, they do it with visuals as well and sound. So it's kind of more, it's easier to digest than when you just keep switching perspectives like that in literature. So it is frowned upon by, you know, the literary agents and such, from my research, to do that type of stuff.
That's a big thing is, I mean, I'm by no means a literary critic. I don't know my head from the hole in the ground. So it's, you know, by all means, I'm just simply offering my personal opinion with this. But that's sort of what I felt with this also, is that it's kind of one of those things where in a visual medium, you're able to convey that a lot more so, but in a novel, you don't generally see that, and for good reason. It doesn't mean that it necessarily can't be done, but I mean, it's like with everything within reason or within at least a marginal amount. That's my personal take, though.
Yeah, and Deep Voice says we shouldn't compare like top-notch books with books, you know, written by an average writer.
Oh, we're not.
I guess he's calling you an average writer snob. I'm sorry. However, no, I'm just talking about general rules in literature. I'm not saying, you know, snob. I'm not comparing him to like, you know, F. Scott Fitzgerald. Although compared to like, you know, the 50 Shades of Grey series, he probably is F. Scott Fitzgerald. However, you know, I'm just talking about those general rules.
It's really important to note that we are looking at this from a critical perspective as a book by itself, not as in comparison to. To be honest, I feel comparing is a very weak review. It muddles the review, and it doesn't really give anything to benefit. Now, to cite an example or to cite something else that does a similar concept, perhaps in a better way, that's fine. But yeah, you don't want to just compare. Comparing is, in my personal opinion, a very weak aspect to do in a review.
And to note, we are only talking about the first book if no one has caught on to that. So like we're only talking about that first volume. Apparently there are more, but yeah, we can't compare it to other things. We're just talking about just this. We shouldn't be necessarily too hard on it because like you said, or whoever said in the chat, like this is by an average person book. Like this is not a professional. Well, maybe that was mean, but you know what I'm trying to say.
No, yeah, exactly. It's no different than when I sat down with a few individuals and talked about Misty Chronexia's Chronexia and the Eight Seals. You know, we sat down both with personal and professional knowledge and discussed it the same way we would a casual anything else. You know, we're not aiming to rip something to shreds completely, but we're gonna critique, I guess.
Yeah, and Bryn, I hear you. However, in the chat, people are calling for more blood. They want us to roast them more. So
it's true. There's pitchforks flying here in chat.
I came here for the book burning. What the fuck is going on? And I'm just like, listen, I'm sorry. It's a digital copy. I can't burn it.
I'm not burning my tablets.
Yeah, sorry.
They're expensive. By the way, guys, again, remember 300 likes. We let Snob in here. So yeah, let's see if we can do that. Also, Snob says he wants to talk about the setting. So yeah, like I said, I did enjoy the setting. It was a complicated world, like a complex, interesting fantasy world. There's different regions, different royal houses, different nations, different factions. I thought that was well done. Again, creative. And a few people mentioned this in the chat, but I felt that, yeah, he has the imagination. He's not a lazy writer. Execution is lacking a bit in terms of, you know, researching literature, writing more, reading more, and then the writing will come with it. But I definitely see potential in it. As someone, I personally have been developing my writing for 10 years, and I've been reading a lot. I've been writing a lot. So, and also I've been researching because I have a novel right now that I just started sending out to agents after like 2 years of working on it, editing it. So I've done all the research on, you know, what agents want, what they don't want, because I don't want to self-publish. I'm trying to publish it the traditional way. And that's why I'm kind of talking about these kind of like literary issues, techniques, tips that I know of, that I've done through my research that Snob might not be aware of. So in terms of execution, definitely needs improvement. However, in terms of the imagination, I did appreciate it. It wasn't lazy writing.
If anything, I think he focused a lot on fleshing out his world when it could have been spent more on like fleshing out his characters a bit, because it was very character driven, but then it didn't feel that way.
And I think fleshing out world I think it can be fine too, but it just, like you said, Briggs, it depends upon the approach. You know, it's very clear that's one of the big things that Snob talks about in a lot of his reviews. You know, is not only just fleshing out, but character development as well. And I do feel you can tell there was genuine effort to create this very immersed world, and the world was probably my favorite part of the book. I thought it was entertaining, or at least it was enough to keep me captivated to read the rest of the book, which I feel is important for anything. You know, I mean, from whether it be like a fan fiction to a professional creation, I mean, as long as I feel like the world the setting is interesting enough, I can read it. So, and I feel like that was a big thing there. But yeah, that was sort of it. As I feel, in this case, I'd almost say maybe even too many characters are involved, and that's sort of where we start sacrificing the development of other characters, per se.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, if you're new to the channel, we do this every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, these rant cafes where we talk about anime, just rant and chill with a bunch of friends, guest YouTubers. So if you want to stick around, I definitely welcome you. Briggs, did you want to say something? You want me to go on to my next points? Because I have
go on to your point. Go ahead.
There is one quote that I really liked, that I thought, as someone, by the way, I also studied political science, political philosophy. So again, from that perspective, I definitely appreciated the book, the setting. I am the type of, even though I don't read much high fantasy, I am the type of reader that this would appeal to. And that's why I like Legend of the Galactic Heroes. And stop saying that shit in the chat, guys. I know what you're saying. That's why I like Code Geass. But I like when, where is this quote? Yeah, so the old Duke's daughter, who is supposed to be married off to Chorrier in order to, you know, now that he's gaining power, she's supposed to marry him in order to consolidate the power. She says something, she says, "You cannot rule those who are not your equal." Who are your equal. Sorry, so you cannot rule those who are your equal. And that's an interesting point in terms of political power and life. Because, you know, people talk nowadays a lot in mainstream media and stuff, equality, equality, equality. But if we're all equal, why should anyone rule? You know, why should we respect anyone to be above us, to rule us, to guide us? So that is, I think, a good sort of Machiavellian point in the book that I really thought spoke to me, because it's like, yeah, if we just saying, oh, we're all equal, guys, then why does anyone have the right to rule more than anyone else? And if you don't have a ruler, then do you have chaos? Is it possible to not live in a world where you have to be Machiavellian? And that's a big theme in this book with Chorrier. You know, he wants to be a good guy. He doesn't want to kill anyone. He's very Goku-ish in that sense at the beginning. But then he realizes that if I don't act Machiavellian, if I don't, you know, do these bad things in a position of power, you know, they could kill me, they could screw me over, I could lose everything. Even the people I'm trying to protect are going to get killed. So yeah, that was an intriguing point for me.
I would agree. Yeah, lines like that really, in my opinion, helped make the book. I thought it was really nice. It showed genuine thought. Like, it was clearly thought out. It was clearly planned out. played out in a certain way. Now you have to correct me if I'm wrong. Did he capitalize on that, keeping that theme throughout with her? I can't remember for sure. So I didn't actually make a note of that, and I'm trying to remember.
So you're talking about the daughter?
Yes, because like after that segment, like, did it continue to play out there, or did that just kind of peter out after a while?
No, she's Machiavellian, and she tries to tell him, like, Chorrier, even though she doesn't want to be married to him or anything, he just kind of takes power. She's like, if you want to actually rule these peasants, you have to start acting like a noble, because she's a noble. So she's like, you have to start acting like us and doing what we do. We don't do this for no reason. The reason we keep them in their place and make them know their place is so that they don't rebel, right? So you have to be careful. But then he doesn't really listen to her, so then she goes on doing other Machiavellian things behind his back. But yeah, her character does stay that kind of type of character throughout.
Excellent. Appreciate it very much. But yeah, no, it's lines like that for me were enjoyable aspects to the book. Those I definitely would say are the highlights, the higher point of the book. So, and kudos to Snob on that. Bravo.
Okay, let's not praise him too much. He's gonna get all like.
Oh well, I'm sorry. Well, you're getting this one, you stupid pleb.
Well, you know what? Okay, I wanna bring you guys to page 292, the very last sentence. What the fuck, Snob? What the fuck? I don't want to say it because it will not make sense out of context. But for those of you who have read it, page 292, at the last sentence, like, that was the biggest jump the shark moment in this book. It was like to compare this to ReZero, because people in the chat have been comparing this to ReZero. It was the moment where what's his name? Subaru jumps off a cliff. It was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening? Explain yourself, Snob.
Would you like me to read it out loud?
Ooh, please do.
By the end of it, I was even sexually aroused, something I haven't felt in my pants for a long time. And if you want to give some context to that.
No, there's no context. No, that's all. That's it. That's all you need.
The context is he is stabbing a guy to death and thinking this.
I mean, hey, there's all types. So, by all means, far be it from me to critique what somebody likes or dislikes,
Dude, but like, this guy, I told you, he doesn't want to kill anyone throughout the whole book. He's such a nice guy, and then all of a sudden he stabs someone to death, and he's like, he has an erection. Like, he specifically talks about this erection for like a paragraph, man. I don't know. This was to be like, what the fuck? I'm definitely talking about this shit on stream.
It has to. It's in the book. We are commenting on what is in the book, so
yeah, that'll come back to haunt you in the stream. So yeah. Yeah,
that anime snob is like, he accepts being Machiavellian. Okay, but why does he accept it sexually? Why can't he just be like, now I'm Machiavellian? Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Everything comes back to sex, though. Sex is the thing that joins us all together. That's why. Don't you know? I foresee it, yo.
Hawbuck Eunuch says, Chorrier ending still better than Code Geass Season 2 ending. No, it's not.
Oh,
but it's clear
that dropping it down.
I would say it's inspired, however, by Code Geass. So you've heard it first on this stream that Snob is a closet Code Geass fan. He makes his videos because he knows you expect him to be negative. But dude, he actually likes Code Geass, man. It inspired his greatest work. His masterpiece was inspired by Code Geass, guys. I might do a video where I just and analyze why his work was inspired by Code Geass and completely destroy his reputation on the internet. What do you think?
Well, I think Devil the Rebel decided that Anime Snob's book, best FAP so far, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face.
And he again donated £2 so that we would have to read this. I want to thank you, but I'm also very confused now as to what.
A lot of the chat was very confused with that statement. Definitely took it out of context, and there was a lot of sexual jokes about his longsword. Just saying, it was there in chat.
Warriors or snobs?
No, just in chat. When the
longsword. That's what I'm asking. Is it Chorrier? Longsword or snobs?
Yeah.
Oh my!
Yeah, I think yeah. I have no comment.
Yep. Okay. So we went there. We went there with this.
We went there. Hey.
This is how we do it every week at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays at Rant Café. Sexual jokes and anime all day, every day.
Rant Cafe, your home of sexual jokes.
Yeah.
And that anime snob. So yeah, that was a weird one. That was a weird line. What else did I have here? Oh yeah, on page 265, the priest Natalis says, he even says, and this is like snob being self-aware here. He's like, it happened so conveniently that it might as well have been divine intervention. So it's like he's even telling us there's a lot of Deus Ex Machina in this book. So I don't know, what did you guys think about the whole Deus Ex Machina? And remember when Snob was like, oh, there's a lot of Deus Ex Machina in Code Geass?
Well, he does talk about that earlier on. To his credits, yes, throw your stones and tomatoes, afterwards. But to his credit, he does actually talk about people wanting to believe in divine intervention or miracles happening, despite knowing elsewise. They desperately want to believe that these things can occur. Believe in, being able to heal someone through the power of divinity, so on and so forth. I mean, it is talked about, so I guess it's not terribly far off.
Well, by the way, Creep Ellen is here. She's also from Greece. So how do you feel, Ellen, that we're roasting your fellow countryman and his work? By the way, we love you. Thanks for all your support and always being here. And you're a moderator. So,
Creep Ellen's honestly the best.
Yeah, she is. She actually, I think, discovered our channel through your channel, Briggs. So, yeah.
She's the
By the way,
best
guys,
fan.
check out all these guys' channels. CyanideBlizzard, All the Anime, Bryn's Fandoms. Awesome people. They do even more roasting than I do, if anything, right? They're just like crushing peeps.
Yeah, I crush myself on a daily basis, so, I mean, come on.
Yeah, Bryn is just like calling out everybody. Whatever, PewDiePie's girlfriend, whatever her name is, just everybody.
I just start all the fights, all the drama. That's my thing.
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't say
All the
bruh even once during the stream yet. Well, we did now.
We did now. I was gonna say it happened now. So
This
it's all
is
good.
legit.
And for the guy that's like, what's Greece? Okay, I mean Elas. Okay, I mean Elas. Relax. Anything else, my people? And by the way, how are we with the likes? Are we at 300 likes yet? Do we have to bring him in?
No, we are at 147.
Oh,
We
I
need
don't know,
some more.
Snob. I think you might
People don't want to see him on. So.
Yeah, I think people just want to see us keep crushing them. They don't want to see him on here. That's cool. That's cool, guys. I like to talk. I like to listen to myself talk. By the way, Tony, the Black Critic, I see him in the chat doing some appreciation. I don't have time to put you in timeout, Tony, so I guess you're okay for now.
Yeah, speaking of, by the way, earlier you put me in timeout 3 times for not giving away my thoughts on the book. Tony, what's the deal?
Tony.
Why?
I think he's gone. His attention span is like 5 minutes. So he was probably here when I come in.
Yeah, that's probably the case.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
if we're gonna talk about an issue, I don't know if it was the same for you guys, but I read the book on Kindle, and a lot of punctuation and proofing errors in terms of, like, for example, the elder was the elder. Commas would be in weird places. Certain words wouldn't be spaced enough. Needs that little extra fine-tooth combing. I'm a big stickler for that, especially for a professional release for a book that's costing money. I'm a real stickler about that. Those little bits and pieces help it make it seem a lot more professional, especially when it is written as well as it is, considering the fact that English is his second language. You definitely want to spend more time going over those little details. I don't know, was that the same with you guys, or was that just with mine?
Well, I think that there was some issues, but not as many, because I read it on my laptop, so it might be a formatting issue.
Okay.
Because
I
didn't
wasn't
notice
too
that
sure.
much. I noticed a few things, but it
I'm
wasn't.
not a guy. I noticed like one, but like it's probably more than that. I'm not the most observant person on the planet, especially when I'm reading.
For me, I can normally bypass them, and usually when a physical format is converted to digital, there will always be at least a few errors. That's not uncommon. But this was one of the cases where it was enough to where I would pay attention each time it happened. This is nitpicking, I will admit, but it's one of those things that I personally look for when I'm reading a book, just to make sure to avoid. You know, you can't completely be devoid of error, but that's the biggest thing for me. So minus from what we
apparently Misty's book has a lot of errors.
I don't know if
Yes.
Snob really, you know, I don't know how much time he actually put in, because it's when you self-publish, you got to do everything yourself, all the formatting for the different formats. So for the e-reader as opposed to a laptop, as opposed to anything else. So I don't know if he actually did that in terms of formatting for the Kindle.
That's a good question.
A young gentleman called ThatAnimeSnob wants us to talk about the chosen one trope in the book. And yeah, I don't know. You know, yeah, the chosen one trope is huge in terms of this guy being the chosen one, Chorrier, and people acting like he's like that, even though he's very reluctant. Like, he doesn't want to be the chosen one. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. He feels like he's being used by people constantly, right? However, yeah, the chosen one thing is a big theme in this book. Your thoughts?
I mean, gosh, chosen one. Oh boy. You know, I mean, obviously that is a very, very common theme. I know why Snob chose it as well. I thought his approach differed enough to where it made it interesting to follow. And I think that was sort of the big thing. Obviously, there is a degree of self-awareness in that as well, as per what you mentioned before. But I don't really know what else to say on that, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know like what he wants us to talk about in terms of that.
What do you
matter what he wants? Talk about what you want.
Well, I mean, I like, the thing is, here's the deal. Setting aside as a person, when I read something, I'm okay with it. For me, a trope is fine. It just depends upon how the trope itself is used. Cliche and tropes are fine. They're established for a reason, but it depends on how they're used, or rather, if they're overtly reliant upon that as well for the story. So, I mean, that's just it, is that it really depends on how it's executed, in my personal opinion. Because, I mean, let's face it, you're not going to completely tell something that's original. You can't. You're always going to be retreading some ground.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I think that's a good point in terms of execution, because I feel like, again, good idea, interesting world building. However, execution lacks a bit. And one thing that I noticed in the book is that everyone, when Chorrier is first gaining power, everyone gives in to him way too easily. It's very naive how everyone just like gives into him at first, and then later, you know, there's complications. But at first, he seems to gain power so easily. Everyone's just like, oh, okay. Which, I mean, you could argue, oh, maybe, you know, the people are primitive. They have superstitions, things like that. So they believe he's the chosen one. So they automatically.
That's just how the world works, type of
Yeah,
thing.
like,
But
I feel like
it would have been a struggle. Like, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like I feel like even though the world, you know, you can have superstition and stuff like that, there's always going to be someone who doesn't care for religion or whatever it is. He's just Machiavellian. So I feel like somebody would have stopped them and be like, screw you, buddy. Like, I'm not letting this happen. Like the army, you know, he says, I'm the chosen one. I killed the dragon. They're like, oh, okay, well, we can't fight you. Like, he has some kind of magical armor. And then,
fuck this. I'm not getting killed today. I don't get the money for this.
that's what it was. That's what it was. It was like a few of them come with like some magical armor, and they're like, okay, we need to get into the Lord's house. And I was like, the noble's house. And I was like, oh no, we're protecting. We're paid mercenaries. He's like, yeah, well, try shooting us. They shoot them with arrows. They bounce off because of the magical armor. They're like, fuck this shit, man. I ain't trying to get stabbed today. They're just like, here, we'll take you to the Lord. We'll take you. We'll take you to him, right? So that was, to me, again, not the best execution. Even though, like, it could be done in a cool way. The concept is just the execution was a little bit naive.
Yeah, it felt like it was making fun of the trope itself. Like they were trying to defy it. Like, oh, you know, it almost felt almost fourth wallish. My apologies for cutting you off there, but
no. So you're saying that the Snob is just self-aware, trolling us this whole book?
It kind of felt like that. I don't know if that was intentional or simply how I look at it personally, but that's kind of how I interpret it as. Because I mean,
that's how
literally
it
laughed
feels
at
to me.
it. So it's like, if that was the intention, then yeah. It reminds me of those anime series where the main character starts off uber powerful. It's like, no, this does not make. And I get it too. You know, that's the whole chosen one thing, is there's always a rise to the top, and there's a massive struggle at first before they continue to build up. There's always some obstacle, or else you go the other end of the spectrum where a character is just super overpowered and they're just like whatever, they blaze through anything, and it's like there's no conflict in that because there's no stakes, there's no tension.
Yeah, yeah. So, Briggs, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, my apologies, Briggs.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say. Oh, if you're saying like him being self-aware, I feel like his entire channel is self-aware. Maybe he took that inspiration into his novel.
No, yeah, like his channel is like, you guys know that you see me probably in the comments commenting on ThatAnimeSnob's channel. Like I think he goes overboard. I disagree with him on a lot of things. I mean, he gave Sausage Party a positive review, for fuck's sakes. Like, get out of here, man. Get out of here. But no, I'm always on his channel. It's always an interesting thing to see. Some of his videos are funny as fuck. Like, if you saw his video where he talked about this rant that's upcoming. It was a few weeks ago or a week ago that he posted, where he's like, Gaguk claiming that he's the first anime channel to review the new Sword Art Online movie, and then he kind of uses those clips and the clips of me announcing the roast. Like, I thought it was funny. I laughed my ass off for that one. So I do have to give him a tip of the hat on that one. But then the Chibi and the Digibro stuff is getting so weird, man. I don't know if you saw his video from like today or yesterday on Digibro, but oh man. Oh, dude, I hope you're not doing that while watching this stream, Snob. I really hope you're not doing that.
Yeah, I'm definitely out of the loop on that. So I'm like, yeah.
No, please.
Totally.
Don't
Not my head degree.
But I was gonna say, now you have me intrigued though, so now I'm gonna have to not look at it. But yeah.
People are saying DGX Snob confirmed. Yeah. It's pretty fucked. Yeah, Bryn, don't watch that. Don't watch that. Like, I think the only female audience Snob has is Sloan, the female otaku, and even she's getting fed up with his shit. I've seen some of her comments in his on his channel. But yeah, he says, Snob says, talk about the fact that the paladins, aka the knights in this story, are not your cliche type of paladin knights. And yeah, they're more like they're not that cliche, but it's been done in the past too. They're kind of like former outlaws who were basically mercenaries enforcing the order. So basically your Wild West type lawmen with like, shady past who are now lawmen for a paycheck, but they're also very like rough and like, gritty and stuff. So it's kind of like a Wild Westian feel. I don't know did you guys notice that part? I just thought of that now.
It's weird because paladins are, they obviously, paladins have a historical aspect to them, and they're generally done in a very specific way, holy knights. So, in this case, it felt more of like creating a different type of character or a different aspect, and then just naming it something else, like calling them paladin. Like, I get what he was going for with that, but I thought it was I would have still tied more elements into what an actual paladin is. So that's me personally, mainly because I love medieval history and whatnot. So.
Oh. Yeah, you sound like a robot. So we dubbed you Robot Coon instead of Table Coon. So hey.
Oh yeah, sometimes happening with your mics.
Just with that one. Yeah.
How about now?
You're still pretty robotic.
What the fuck? Stop! Look it off.
See, even CyanideBlizzard, who was usually so nice, just freaked out now because this Snob shit is just getting everyone crazy. Remember, guys, leave a like if you want to see a Snob in this stream eventually. But another thing I wanted to point out that near the beginning that seemed unrealistic to me in terms of the character behavior is how Rhea, the love interest that we barely see, which I guess Snob will be like, see, I defied that trope because the love interest doesn't play that big a deal in terms of directly interacting with the main character. But the way her parents don't give a shit about her, and the way that they're willing to just give her away to any man, that comes down the street for like some wine or something, like, I feel like that was unrealistic. I understand it's a different society, but like everyone likes their flesh and blood, at least to some extent. They don't want to just pawn them off for some wine and fine glasses. Like, I thought that was stretching it, in my opinion.
I would hope to agree with that statement,
I don't disagree. It just, I feel like his mindset was, this is the world, and it was kind of like he didn't. It's really hard to explain. It's like this is the world he fleshed out, and nothing else like like it's really hard to explain, but like not normal knowledge doesn't apply to this world apparently. That's the feel I got. It was like it's a different fantasy world, has no connection to anything we already know. I don't know if you guys agree with that.
Yeah, Snob's like she was given to a chapel to become like a nun or something. Yeah, but her father, he wasn't like, oh, we had to give our daughter away because we don't have money. He was like, oh, look, I got a bottle of wine from this priest to give away my daughter. Like, come on, Snob. Damn it. Like you gotta. I think that personally, and by the way, if you want to check out the book, I left the links in the description. I personally think that this has potential. I think that, I would read. I'm glad I read this because he's a fellow anime YouTuber. He's not as, awesome and handsome, but he is a fellow anime YouTuber. So, and I'm a fellow writer as well, right? So I definitely wanted to read this anyway. I haven't read Chorrier's book, to be honest, because it was kind of like before I was into the whole anime community on YouTube thing. And from what I've heard, people are not telling me you have to read this, so I didn't really read it. But yeah, I appreciate him writing. I think there's potential. He needs to fix the execution. But would I read a second part? That's an interesting question. I'll ask you guys before I answer. Would you read a part 2 of this book?
I don't think I personally would. Maybe. Like comparing it to other light novels, which is, like you said, unfair. It didn't immerse me the same way. I was more reading it to be able to roast it, right? Halfway through, I started to enjoy it and get into it, but it wasn't. I'd personally go for a different light novels if I had the chance, because novels are a lot of time invested into reading it, right? It's not just like an anime series, just kind of do that in a day, 12 episodes, just relax and do other things while you're watching.
Yeah, Snob is like, you guys don't know how hard it was back then. It's like, yeah, times were hard back then in your fantasy world, you mean in history, but times were hard. However, people still love their children. They didn't
Yeah, he pointed out that it was the 4th daughter.
As rubbish. Yeah, it's still like, you're just like, oh, please come in and rape my daughter, sir. Like, I don't even want to get into that whole thing. But it's like, oh yeah, please, you criminal maniac, come in and just rape my daughter and take her away. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on. Cyanide, are you with us?
Maybe he's trying to fix his technical difficulties.
Yeah,
not me this time.
Yes or no?
Yeah, right? Oh,
Am I better?
Yeah.
Is it good again? Have I stopped the hack?
Yes, you have. And by the way,
Right,
I'm
that's
a cold
good.
guy. That's why I keep sniffling and wiping my nose.
Disgusting. Have some manners, you
It's
slob.
not because the emotion, the feels, and the moe of Snob's book made me cry. It's definitely not that, guys. By the way, do you know that he does not describe even one boob in detail in this book?
Can't even.
Apparently, those are priorities here at Rant
We're
Café.
anime fans. Like, give us some fan service, bro. We're fans. We read. Give us some service, some boobs, man.
I want some
I guess-
boy.
I don't know. Am I the
I was
only one
gonna
thinking
say-
about that?
Someone please quote that.
But
Put it on a T-shirt.
I mean, for a first novel. That's just it. That's going to be a branching point. It's sort of in the same essence of Chorrier and the 8 Seals. The second episode is going to be very interesting to see where they go after especially with how much feedback Misty Chorrier has gotten on that first episode. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes from there. And I would definitely watch the second episode to see how it handles itself for the future. And that's sort of the same thing with Snob's book. I mean, it's definitely not without fault. You can definitely tell that it is amateur writing, but there's potential there. I feel that there's enough intrigue that's built to where I would keep reading to see how things improve in the future book, as well as to see where things go. There's definitely that aspect to it that piques my curiosity. So
Yeah, I think that I would definitely read a second book, especially if he's not bullshitting us and Damazis is gonna be a bigger guy in the second book, because I thought that was his strongest potential character. He's a young paladin's apprentice. He jokes around. He's outgoing. He's funny. the girls like him. You know, that's who I relate to, guys. That's who I relate to, not Chorrier. So I want to see more Damazes, and I would read the second book, and I just, like I said, execution needs to be fixed. The idea is good, execution needs to be fixed. And Snob, I will help you fix it if you can get me that poster that Chibi has of Naked Hollow. If you can find me that poster, like if you can get that exact one from Chibi's wall and send it to me, I will proof edit your book for you, number 2. What do you say to that? Is it a deal?
That's a pretty sweet offer, if you ask me. Telling you right there. Naked Wolf Girl poster for top-notch editor. Boom.
But it has to be Chibi's. Like, I want to deprive Chibi of that poster. I don't want like another one like that.
It's got to be
His next video, you want to see there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Snob's like, I have to invade Chibi's house now. No, Snob. Just tell him that you killed the dragon. He won't fight. He will just say, "Oh fuck, we're done. Just take the poster, man."
The poster, man.
Take it.
But what's he gonna throw at him that's gonna deflect off of him? Like, what does Chibi have that he could throw at him? Like figures?
He's gonna throw all the shit light novels that apparently can't compare to his masterpiece.
Yes. Beautiful. They're gonna just deflect off him. It's like, your light novels do nothing to me. They just deflect off. Chibi's gonna be like, "Fuck, man, I'm done. Take the poster."
He's gonna like, I can't even. I can't even. For 15 minutes. See, this is what happens when you watch Snob's channel. You become so jaded.
Yeah, you're just an awful
jaded
person
about
now.
everybody.
Why do you got to do that? What did Chibi reviews ever do to you, AniMac? Huh?
I don't know. I don't even watch it. I don't know. I just see him
exactly. Why you got to be hating then?
I'm not hating. I just see him through Snob's eyes. Snob warped my opinion of so many people.
Clearly, you have a warped perspective. Then you're just a terrible person. Unbelievable. How could you?
Disappointed.
Okay, well, when he says my Chibits, I kind of get Snob's point. When he's like, "Hey, my Chibits," like, come on, man.
Has nothing on my Shinpaku Alliance.
Yeah, like Shinpaku Alliance, Daigurendan, Space Cowboys, the cyanide pills. I don't know, whatever, you know.
Wow, that's dark. I don't know.
Yeah. A proud cyanide pill right here. Actually.
Snob wants you to compare Chorrier to light novel leads. Like what? Why? Are you writing a light novel or are you writing a masterpiece? Like, why would we like? Are we gonna compare him like to Subaru?
Yeah, like what light novel? Like light novels in general. There's a variety of light novels.
That's the
There's
thing.
plenty
What
of
I've
trashy
read,
ones and plenty of decent ones. So
the protagonists aren't the same type of protagonists that would be Chorrier.
Or are you saying that you want a Chorrier's Rise light novel?
Graphic novel.
Graphic, yeah.
Anime adaptation.
That stabbing scene. Graphic.
Get some art in there.
Fuck, man. Psycho says, "Quit picking on easy targets, Snob. You need to raise your standards." And I agree, man. You gotta have some standards. You just pick on easy targets. Like, come on.
I think he picks on everyone. Let's be fair here.
No,
actually,
he does pick on everyone.
That's true.
I mean, the context to which he takes his picking, I don't know about that, but he does. He no holds bar on anyone.
Yeah, this is why it's fun now for us to just rail at him, and he's just like there in his chat, probably laughing his ass off in Greece.
And then he
Probably
makes a
doesn't have
video next
shirt on. I bet he doesn't have a shirt on, guys.
Well, and the best part too is that we still will have 300 likes, which means the Snob isn't going to be on this at all. Get wrecked. We've destroyed you and your book, your life, your lineage obliterated, and you can't even defend it. Can't stop it. Can't stop the Rant Cafe train.
It's coming.
Coming. Choo choo.
Choo choo. Yeah.
He wants us to give the book a score.
Get in the robot, Chorrier. But how many likes are we at right now, guys?
165.
Okay, well, guys, drop a like if you want to see Snob. If you want to see Snob in here, drop a like. I might consider changing the requirement, but you have to convince me. You have to convince me. Also,
scores.
Scores. Yeah, I don't know about scores.
I hate scores. I hate giving scores for things. Ugh.
6.68 Shinjis out of 10. I guess, oh my god.
Solid
Yeah.
score.
Someone said, "Get to the fuck." Someone says, "I bet drunk Lichtenstadt said, I bet drunk Digibro is watching this and is like, get to the fucking point, idiots." No, yeah, he might be doing that after 45 minutes.
Yeah, he's gonna say, see, Digibro is gonna say that after talking for a half an hour. Then he'll say, hey, get to the point.
Yeah. Yeah, that is rich though, coming from Digibro. Like, I've seen 45-minute videos that he's made that he could have made in 10 minutes. Like, I enjoy some of his content, but come on, get to the point, guys.
Okay, we're ripping on everyone else but Snob now. We're detracting. We're becoming Snob because we're targeting Chibi and Digi.
My God, is it true? Is it true that after we read this book, after we are doing this rant, we're becoming Snob? We're becoming like some kind of Borg, where he just attracts us to become more and more
You're morphing into like a beast. This is what's happening here.
Yeah, like a beast, like some dark side. The Chorrier.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Transforming from
Take
the
that
plebs that we
cyanide.
once were.
Yes. Getting the Chorrier out of 10. No, if I had to give it a score, 1 being absolutely awful, 10 being a masterpiece, I'd say 5 out of 10. I felt that it was roughly average. I felt that it did the things that it needed to at least make me interested in reading more of it, but definitely needs a lot of work in a lot of other areas. So
Yeah, if you're a fan of fantasy, Cyanide, have you read a lot of fantasy books? If you are, you could talk about how this compares to that. I haven't read a lot. I've read some of the Song of Ice and Fire books. This one doesn't have nearly as much descriptions of people eating, which is a big thing that George R. R. Martin likes to do. Yeah,
I mean, the thing with comparing to other books, I hate doing that because I think every author writes differently, and it's clearly we're talking about professional authors that, you know, from successful series, and this is from a guy that has a snob persona, you know, on the internet that decided, hey, I want to write a book and I'm going to do it. So, I mean, it's difficult really to compare those. You can see influences from certain things, but, you know, I mean, no, like Krios keep asking, you know, is it better than Game of Thrones? No, of course not. That's naive to even suggest that. So don't be that person. Don't. So don't do that. Don't be that. So no, it's I mean, there's clearly a lot of work that does need to be done, need to be crafted for the other iterations to make it stand out more so on its own, as well as to refine what it's doing. I feel that there are some positives though, and it needs to tighten those up. And I mean, it could continue to keep pushing forward with that. So I think that's good. I mean, definitely would encourage him to keep pushing forward with the second one. So, you know, another one asks is, does the book feel obviously influenced by anime? I felt more Western fantasy, high fantasy influence than I did anime. But ThatAnimeSnob, and you know, I don't know. That's what he does. And Animac, you pointed out that you felt some of those anime influences as well.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Shinji for sure, and I feel like definitely I got Legend of the Galactic Hero vibes from the world building, and you know those are his babies.
And Born to Run, good troll, but no.
Yeah, Born to Run has been saying some funny shit. He's like, there's no boobs, there's no food porn. Like, what is this book even about, man? What is this even about? But yeah, like definitely I would read a second book, but he needs to work on that execution. One other thing that I found interesting, because there is some melodramatic writing here, and I found that so weird with the snob, right? Because he hates melodrama, so you know, allegedly. However, he had this one thing where it was like a guy's towel dropped from his hands from excitement. Like that's what he said. Like kind of like I think it was Chorrier. Kind of like my towel dropped from my hands from excitement. It's like, come on, man. Like in real life, people are not gonna be like, what? I get to go on a trip with you? What? Like that's a little melodramatic, snob. You know, you can do better than that. Come on.
I think you should get an actual towel and recreate that scene for us.
You should.
Can I use this?
Do it.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have to say, you can come with me. You're the paladin. You'd be like, do you want to come with me to the city to escort the brute?
Do you want to come with me to the city to escort the brute?
What? Me, Chorrier, and so on. So yeah, that was a little bit odd, but again, like I said, execution needs work. But it's not a lazy. It's an ambitious project. He wasn't lazy with it. I respect that aspect of it, and I respect that he's here in the chat. You know, getting shitted on by everyone. It's and the best thing about Snobs fans is like they like him, but they also like to hate him, right? So they're like, it's like, man, I love your stuff. You're a fucking idiot. Your Mob Psycho review was shit. Keep it up.
Keep it up.
So yeah, that is an interesting thing about his fans. And by the way, guys, if you like these types of rants, we do this every week, Thursdays, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So do subscribe to this channel because we only talk about the best anime here.
That's
Such
right.
as that Anime Snob's secretly favorite anime, Code Geass.
Rant Café, the only place where you can come and listen to a talking table.
The best. Yep. Quality content here. Quality rants here at Rant Cafe.
Absolutely.
Top-notch.
And we don't
I'm
talk
also
about Digibro and Chibi nearly as much.
Yes. Though in one episode I did get mauled by Chewbacca, so
That was amazing.
that did happen.
So how many likes are we at, guys?
178. It's not gonna happen. The dream is dead.
Okay, so
Are we not the
Should we
chosen
still invite
ones?
him? You guys think it will be fun to still invite him if people in the chat can convince us, if they want to see him. If you guys in the chat are like, we don't want to see his ass, then we're not going to invite him. But if you guys think that we should invite him, I'm open to it as long as he has to say all hail Animac when he comes here.
I think that's fair.
Let's see.
I
Let's
think
see.
that's fair.
Chat's going crazy. They're like, what?
Just
Do
letting you
it.
guys-
Do
You
it.
guys know I may need to disappear in like 15 minutes since we're inviting him now. I don't know how long it's gonna run.
Are you scared? Are you
Oh,
scared?
I'm scared. Invite him right now, but like I gotta
Terrified.
pick
Yeah, it
someone
looks
up.
like-
Unfortunately,
Looks like people want him in here, man. It looks like people want him in here. Let's see. Let's see if he has the balls to come in here.
Oh,
If he has the whatever the Greek word is for balls.
Ladies and
Because I will invite him.
Whatever.
Drop that motherfucking like if you haven't yet, because we want to do this right.
what's my motherfucking name?
Look at this. It's like chat's like going crazy, yo. They really want this to happen.
Yeah, you better tell your friends this is happening if he actually has the guts.
he
to
said
come in.
no.
The invite has been sent, so let's see if he comes. And by the way, you have to take a shot if he comes here. Every time he says pleb, you have to take a shot.
I'm
So
in.
get your drinks ready. That's what he's saying.
Okay, hold on here. I'll be right back.
just like
Yeah, so the invite is sent, guys. The invite is sent. Let's see if he shows up. But yeah, in the chat, convince his ass. Convince his ass. People in the chat saying pleb. That doesn't count. We're not drinking.
we,
He has
we
to
met.
stop in the stream.
Yeah.
Saying you plebs. Okay, until he comes here, if he comes, I'm gonna imitate him. Okay. You stupid plebs. You don't understand me. This Rant Cafe is shit. It's shit. By the way, that's my ringtone. The snob saying it's shit. It's very awkward at work, but it's worth it. Fuck it.
Yep.
People are like, don't run away from reality, Snob. Join the stream.
Join the stream. I know,
It's-
everyone's pumped.
This is terrible. I can't believe this. I have alcohol ready to go, so come on.
He's ready.
Snob.
And by the way, we also have a Discord server on this channel that the link is in the description. If you're not a total lunatic and you want to chat with us, like on a daily basis, you can join the Discord. But if you're a total lunatic, then better not do it. Oh, now they're gonna fucking do it. Now that I said it, they're gonna.
Yeah, yeah.
However, we have Kaiser Trigger in our Discord, and it's working out okay. And you guys know Kaiser Trigger. He's crazy,
a bit
but
intense.
he's crazy, but he's like acceptable crazy. So like, you know, he's cool. What's up, Kaiser? Shout out if you're still in the chat.
So are we calling him chaotic neutral if we want to get really nerdy?
Mm.
Going all D&D up in here, so.
Yes.
Excuse
Yep, get
me.
all D&D.
Yeah, someone said in the chat earlier, by the way, guys, there's a lot of people in the chat, so it's hard for me to keep up with all your names. I apologize for that. But someone said the research Snob did for his book was just playing Dungeons and Dragons all day.
No, you can tell he was definitely a fan of
playing Dungeons
the
and Dragons.
whole medieval. Like he definitely found a fan of the world and put a lot of thought into the world. That's one thing I could give him.
Yeah, nothing. We're just waiting to see.
Yeah, but it might be that he doesn't realize that he needs a Google account or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
We're using Google Hangouts, so I sent him the link where he needs to join, but I don't know if maybe he's not logged into his email or something. So we'll see. I'll give him a few more minutes. In the meantime, what do you guys want to talk about? You guys want to talk about why does everyone care so much about what Digibro thinks about other channels? Like, what was that all about?
Well, you know, I gotta say, this is delightful. If you enjoy people watching, this drama is fantastic because it's just
it's
spreading.
great.
It is.
Yeah,
We're close to
seriously.
here, so.
Yeah,
See,
if you're a drama person, this is it. This is the moment.
100%. Like I'm loving this right now, low key. But I like Digi and Giguk for completely different reasons, and I feel like that's something that Digi just doesn't understand. Is people watch people for other reasons. Not everyone's trying to have a message and like add something to the industry. Like I watch Giguk to laugh and be entertained, and he does have some good points, but it's not always about the point. It's kind of about how he puts it together. While Digi, I think, is a good writer and has good points, but he's not as entertaining. But I watch him for completely different reasons, and I feel like he sees it as everyone having to watch him. Like everyone watches YouTube for the same reason he watches YouTube, or anime YouTubers.
See, that's just it. There's a variety. That's the beauty of the internet, is there's a variety of different things out there. There may be even something out there that you never knew you wanted or needed to see, but you're going to see it anyways because somebody felt that you should. And you're going to go, that's burned into my head. I can't forget that now. Why have you done this to me? I thought we were friends.
Yes, Snob just came online on Skype, so we'll see. I sent him the link on Skype. We'll see if he joins. The anticipation. But yeah, also, I feel like I like Giguk's content. It's funny. I watch it for the humor. Sometimes he throws in some analytical shit. Sometimes he doesn't, you know. But I enjoy for that. I would watch some of Digibro's content as well. I think he often takes half an hour, 40 minutes to say what he could have said in 10 minutes. But he does make good points, so I do enjoy his content. But like, my point is, why does everyone care what Digibro thinks about their content? Like, he makes a video, then everyone responds to him and all this kind of like, man, people have different types of content, and who cares?
Because the reality is that we are actually living a Spanish soap opera.
The life of YouTube.
Yep.
How do you guys feel about the whole YouTube restricting age content thing that I was talking about yesterday?
That's weird. Yeah, that kind of threw me off. Looking into that too, it's been going on for a while, but like I'd be curious to know exactly what that's affecting and for the bottom line.
And whether it's just
Did you
like
watch Keemstar's videos
system.
on it?
No, I didn't.
No.
I should have though. Shoot.
I would recommend doing that. It gives you a good perspective on it. But basically, I don't think they've fully enforced. They're fully enforcing it now, I guess, the whole age groups. But we don't really know our current standing. Like the whole thing I was showing you guys was you could put your browser on restricted mode in YouTube, and for some reason half my content's gone, and it's because it's age restricted and it's considered mature. But apparently, there's 3 levels, so I don't know what restricted mode counts as. What age group is it putting you as, type of thing. So it's a test, but it's not exactly a reliable test.
So Snob says he's having technical difficulties. I'm going to try to walk him through it while you guys talk about this. And by the way, speaking of Keemstar, Farhan Steiner said, next up on Drama Alert, a bunch of weeaboos fight each other instead of enjoying anime. And yeah, bro, that's what we're all about. That's what we're all about. Just bruh, 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 bruh.
I didn't realize Black Boris was joining us today.
No, don't even. You don't want to wake the dragon. That is Black Boris.
That is Black Boris. He'll
Don't
bust
make
out
it
those those tracksuits, man.
Yeah, I'm not wearing a tracksuit. Don't make me go and shake.
Don't make me come on. Yeah, I think the whole age restriction is kind of silly, but I didn't look into it as much as you did, and you just explaining it there does kind of make sense that there should be like some levels, but like I don't know, is it the system making the decision? I don't know, right?
Yeah, it's how are they going about making this decision, right? Like, it's obviously like bots doing it because there's no way everyone can check each individual thing. But
people can do it too. It sounds like if someone reports your stuff, they can technically also flag that as well. So
the whole YouTube hero thing.
Yeah, my apologies for cutting you off.
Oh yes.
I just wish YouTube was a little bit more open. Like, if you want to do age restrictions, that's perfectly fine. Like, there's mature content on YouTube that kids maybe shouldn't be seeing, but let us know. Don't just we have to figure shit out ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell Snob he's having technical difficulties. I'm going to tell him that to try Google Chrome because Firefox doesn't support Google Hangouts.
Yeah, you have to go through Google Chrome.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell him to try Google Chrome because Firefox doesn't work anymore. We'll see. The countdown, the anticipation is real, guys. The anticipation is real.
I think that's why I'm not having technical difficulties anymore. I always ran on Firefox, and now I have to use Chrome. And every time I pop in, it's like, ooh, works first time.
Can't even believe it.
Look at that.
Never used to be the case.
Oh, yeah. Born to Run says Pedantic Romantic created a new YouTube genre, the Digituber. Yeah, I think Pedantic Romantic now has more videos on Digibro than DX Fan has on how much he hates Sword Art Online.
Well, you're just taking shots at everyone today. Oh,
that's what Snob did to you. He's transformed his book subconsciously.
What has happened to you? Do we need to have an intervention? Do we need to bring Mackleknot and Simply Rose in on this? Talk some sense into you. What's wrong with you, Annie Mac?
Now Snob is like, I don't have Chrome. Who doesn't have Chrome, Snob?
Yeah, everyone has Chrome.
Run Internet Explorer. Okay, who am I kidding? He doesn't know what he has Internet Explorer.
I was going to say, no. Don't. Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
He's like, what am I, a pleb?
But no, yeah, I've become...
It's anything...
I don't want to become the Chorrier one.
Use your phone, bro.
I don't want to be that guy, man.
It's too late. You're already the Chorrier.
You're already the Chorrier.
No, but my thing is, I love the anime community on YouTube. I think it's a fun thing. I think I don't like taking ourselves too seriously. Like, I think some people take it way too seriously, and we shouldn't. Like, we should just have fun with it, do what you want to do. You know, make rant cafes like this where you just swear at each other, and like, it's all in good fun. I don't personally hate anyone. You know, I don't like. Why would you hate someone you don't even know in your personal life? Stuff like that. Like, you know, just have fun. We do this ranting thing all the time. You know, me and Tony, the Black Critic guy, have a love-hate relationship. Everyone knows it, but at the end of the day, we have fun and it's cool. So.
Oh, is Tony here? Hey, Tony, Yakumo sucks. What are you gonna do about it?
Bring him out from hiding. That's what you say.
Now who's the Chorrier? Who's the Chorrier beast mode?
I fully accept my responsibilities as Chorrier. One day Rhea will look my way.
Oh shit. Oh, no, you didn't. No, you did not. No, you did. Yeah, someone tell Digibro to make a drunk rant about Rant Café.
Well, remember, he said that if he doesn't talk about you, you don't matter. So.
Oh, exactly. Oh, we gotta provoke him into shouting us out.
What I don't like is I feel like people judge people based on their content. Like, that doesn't have an identification. Like, that doesn't show who they are as a person. How can you not like someone for the content they make? I don't know.
Right.
But
Right,
like you
it's
said,
only-
one of his problems. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was gonna say it's only part of like what you're seeing, right? Like, and it's just part of what their effort and they're putting into, so you can totally put off a different perspective or like a different feel for yourself rather than like your actual self. So yeah.
It's very true. Like a lot of people have personas they use, or like their content may not be the most like reputable, but like as a person, you can't judge them.
Yeah, by the way, Psycho asks, what's another new anime that you could shit on to become famous like Digibro did for Sword Art Online? And I think that, yeah, and someone else said ReZero. Lilak Sebab said ReZero, and I agree, man. There's a lot of stuff that I feel like there's a lot of issues with ReZero. And Black Critic Guy doesn't agree with me, but I thought the tone shifts were ridiculous. I thought the story was all over the place. I thought Subaru was such a chorier. Oh shit, is he there? Is that the snob?
We can faintly hear him. Quick,
Snob,
come
adjust-
closer.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's in. He's adjusting his mic. If you see his
Okay.
name when he tries to talk, it says Petros. Whoa.
Guys, can you hear me?
We can hear you better now.
Can you hear me?
Better. Still not great, but better.
What am I supposed to do? Come closer where?
Go into the monitor. Go into the microphone.
Into the monitor.
Become one with the internet.
That's the best I can do. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do.
No, that's not bad.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can.
we can hear you. Yeah, the people are going wild in the chat. They're going wild and insane. They're like,
It
Snob is
is.
finally here. What do you have to say for yourself, Snob? And please make it about how good Code Geass is. I leave it to you.
Whatever they said is a mistake. My book is great. I don't know what you're talking about. Head popping, head jumping. What am I, a rabbit? Shit is this crap?
He didn't say plebs once. I can't believe it.
No
It was
shots.
a mistake. It was a mistake, everything they said.
Everything what we said was true, but the book is still worth checking out. And yeah, like I said, I would do a second book. I would read it. Is the second book written, Snob? Tell us right here live. Is the second book written, or are you writing it now, taking notes from me, and writing it to make it better? Snob, can you hear us?
I do.
Are you writing the second book? Is it already written? Or are you taking notes now and writing it based on what I told you should do?
What do you want me to say?
The truth.
Confirm or deny, sir.
Okay, listen. My book is fine the way it is. The only thing you said is that it needs to be improved. How can it be improved? You didn't say anything besides head popping and something. What is this, Hookton again? Anyways, I am writing the second book. It will have many answers or whatever that you didn't understand. I don't know how well you read it or how much you didn't pay attention to what was going on. Why are you laughing?
Yeah, it wasn't the book how it was written. It was how I read it, right?
Yeah. You read it wrong. You read it wrong. You didn't get it. You were too stupid to get it. I don't know what you were expecting, okay? I took any trope there was, and I downplayed it in the sense that, oh, now you expect a battle. You're not going to get a battle. You expect him to get character development. He's not going to get character development. That was the big subversion going on. Get it?
Yeah, you need character fucking development. That's not a trope. That's a thing you need. You need to develop
So
the
your
character.
book's a troll?
There was character development at the end, wasn't there?
I told you the book was a troll. Did I not tell you this? I said
Oh,
so.
Oh my God, Anbu
Yeah, now
says.
you have confirmation bias.
Anbu says, Snob, your book was a shonen manga. That's what he just said, bro.
How can it be a manga? It doesn't even have any images. It's got an awfully drawn cover.
Why are you being so literal? But no, like I said, yeah, you did you inverted some of the tropes in terms of the action scenes. Like there was like you're expecting a battle, it doesn't happen. But that just left me wanting the battle. Like, you have to build up to something. You have to have the conflict. It's not just because it's cliche. It's because that's how storytelling goes. You got to do it.
What can I say about that?
But the thing is, like I said, I'm intrigued by the book. I enjoyed the book for what it is. I think when I say how you can improve, what I mean is some execution stuff, stylistic stuff. For example, you know, like when at the end when Chorrier does develop, like it could have been done in a bit more like not as suddenly, kind of not as like bam. Like he could have done a bit more progressively. However, like I said, I thought the book would be way worse when I read it. I was like, I'm gonna tear this guy a new one. But like I said, the world building, respect, the imagination, respect. Like I said, there was no language barrier. I did not think there was a language barrier. Which again, as two fellow Balkan guys for whom English is not a first language, I have to give you props for that. And yeah, so give us some teasers for season 2.
It's never coming. It's a myth.
The way you talk right now, it's like nobody's interested. And how can I throw in teasers when there are like 2 or 3 people who read it in the whole chat right now? What can I tease? You wanted more proactive characters? Yes, Damaz is going to be one of the main characters in the second book. You're going to get that one. You said,
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You said, why did anyone check the dragon? Why would they check the dragon? That's not the point. Nobody cares about the fucking dragon. It's just a boogeyman.
No, but the thing is, like, let's say the guy wins, like the guy who kills the dragon. I don't like him. Let's say I'm his rival. Why don't I go and confirm? Yo, where's this body of this dragon? Did he really kill it? Is he just lying? Is he bullshitting me? You know, that's what I mean.
Who would do that?
I would. If my
It's you. Who is you?
It's like now we're in an era where we need to see evidence for everything. Like we get feedback on everything like right away because of like internet and social media and stuff.
You're 21st century guy. Isikaring yourself to a freaking fantasy world where you think you're the special guy going to fight a dragon on your own, although it's a test only nobles are supposed to participate in. And commoners are being dragged there like slaves to be eaten by the dragon. You would totally do that, man.
Snob.
As I'm saying, it's a different era.
If me and you were going at it for who is going to be the next king of the Serbs and Greeks, like Serbian Tsar Dusan the Mighty was, and you won the trial, do you think I would be like, okay, I'll accept it? Or I'll be like, man, this guy cheated, this guy's lying, I gotta fuck him over somehow, I gotta double check that body. That's what I'm saying.
He had the flag as a proof. He was the third. By the way, it was the third attempt, if you remember. It wasn't even the first. 2 other guys failed because they also chickened out. It's not like nobody else tried before him, okay?
Fair enough. You do, and like I do like the Machiavellian aspects in the book. There are Machiavellian aspects in the book, and that's my thing with Chorrier. He's too naive, and the people around him, like his so-called wife and so forth, are not naive, right? So they know, what to do. So that's what frustrated me personally, and that's what frustrates me with like Shinji as well in Evangelion, because I feel like I am more Machiavellian than that. I would be better. I would be more like Reinhardt. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that.
Now you're complaining. Now you're complaining because you're not Oliver Twist, and you were in that. If you were in that orphanage, you would kick the hell out of those masters and would steal all the soup for yourself and eat as much as you like, and you would start a protest in the middle of the street in the 18th century of England, whatever the hell the book was in, and you would expect to get people to understand how you feel, and you would be like the smartass. How the hell were you so smartass? That was not the age you grew up in. You didn't have the internet. You didn't have even the basics of democracy or hygiene or whatever. You're thinking like yourself. You're not thinking like the character in the story.
Well, I guess that's a fair point, but it's also like, how do we interpret? Because both of us are in the same boat. We're both in the modern world. So it's like, you have one interpretation of how I would have been, I have another. But yeah, like the thing is, it's true that I like to relate to the character, and in this case, I didn't relate that much. I related to Damazis. So thank you for including him in the next novel. That motivates me more to read that one, because I thought, man, I was like, had brief appearances. I was like, man, this guy's cool. I want to know more about this guy. But yeah, it's true. It doesn't mean that it's a bad character just because I don't relate to him, however. So in that, I will cede that point to you. By the way, Cyanide, Briggs, Bryn, do you have anything to say to the one and only anime snob?
Actually, like your guys' discussion. I think that's great. Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
There is a question
What?
in chat though about the
comments. I
whole.
had to shut it down when I entered because there's a lag. I had to shut the comments. Say there. questions from there.
Okay, we'll read it for
Right,
you.
right.
We'll read it for you. Bryn, go ahead.
Yeah, someone wants to ask you about the getting turned on by the killing thing.
Okay, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Why was it there? That's the question. What caused it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because he goes from not wanting to kill anyone to getting sexually excited about killing a dude. Even though the dude deserves to be killed, don't get me wrong, but...
Okay, first of all, he's a young guy who never technically were aroused before that. That was his entry to manhood, sort of speaking, okay? And in my imagination, whatever imagination I have right now, it's kind of, you know, kinky. When you're very excited about anything, I mean, in general, any pleasure eventually comes to sexual stimulation, okay? Happy at that moment, he got a boner. There's no other explanation about it. It's like, how do you kill someone because you really want to, but you don't feel anything, you know, sexual about it, okay? He really wanted to do it. He was, you know, knocked out for how many months about it. It was like a planned assassination, and he was really hell-bent on doing it. If he just did it without feeling anything about it, that would be out of character.
Yeah, like, I feel that the guy that deserved to be killed, but it's just like, I don't get the whole, he got that excited about it after being so against killing, right? However, yeah, like, I see, you know, I've seen it before in media, so not my thing. I'm not into that kind of stuff, but you know, a little peek into the life of that anime snob, his personal life. I think the fans will enjoy reading that.
Yeah, I'm totally self-inserting myself into the character. And every time I do something, I get a boner or something. That's what.
Yeah, so now you know every time he rips on Digibro or Chibi reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, well, did you see his fucking Digibro video? Oh my god, I just remembered. No,
I don't think I watched the last couple.
you bastard. Man, he made a video
That's
where
what
like,
you wanted to watch. Yeah, it was confirmation bias, the video, as much as I care. He said exactly what I wanted. And to me, that's the closest thing to sex right now, okay? So,
It's just missing the penetration.
this is why
I
you have to
just
love this
stop-
man. This is why you have to love this
I
man.
could have just
What?
used the joke of, you know, body swapping and shit, but I already did that. I was so happy with him saying all these things, you know, not because I'm proud of what he said. The guy completely lost it. But he did say anything. I was talking about all these years, and he was denying it and insisting that, oh, I'm totally not the jerk that I'm snap. I'm totally the better the anime community. Well, where is your betterment right now? You're talking exactly like I do.
It's true. It's true. Like basically everything he said in his rant, Snob picked out, and you know the exact stuff that Snob has been saying forever. He's like, oh look, Digibro is saying the same thing, and then he took it to another level. But definitely go to Snob's channel and watch that if you have the moral fortitude and courage to do that to yourself. But I laughed my ass off, I'll tell you that much. And then I kind of cried a little bit afterwards, like, what did I just watch? But I got what you were doing. I got your points.
Yeah. Also, if you remember, he said in the video, anyone I didn't mention probably sucks. He did mention me for like half a second, so I don't suck. He called me a dick, but he did mention me, therefore I don't suck.
Yeah, he's always like,
somebody else sucks me.
that anime snob's a dick.
Somebody sucks me.
People are saying that he's tsundere towards you, and that he's only saying that because, you know, deep down inside he actually respects you. What do you think about that?
Nah, I don't think he respects me. I think he's jealous of me. Me being able to do anything he does in a 20th of the time he takes to say anything. Like 5 hours of a video, just in 3 minutes, sit down what I'm doing. But no, he has 100 different things to talk about, in no particular order. So why are you making in no particular order 3-hour video talking about anything that pops in your mind? I write down what I have to say and I'm done with it right away, instead of just saying, oh no, you have to watch my video in 2 hours 53 seconds in order to see what I was talking about. Who the fuck is gonna remember 100 points in a 3-hour video? Get it? I mean,
that's actually a really interesting point.
Ones. Yeah. I mean, if I want to point out that I said that in a video, how am I gonna find the fucking time when I exactly said it, when I didn't even plan down the timing of when I exactly said it? I do small videos, I get straight to the point, say, hey, somebody asked me, did you talk about this thing? I looked at my video list, which I have written down in a word map. I said, yeah, it's 25/7. and he just finds the number and that's it. Okay. I tell people what to watch with a number, not timing. Whenever I said it in a 3-hour video. This is why nobody can say, "Oh, you didn't watch the video." Everybody says you have to rewatch the video. 3-hour video, and you have to rewatch just to get what he said for like 5 seconds. No, thank you.
No, it's
Did
true.
he confirmed for a snob fan because he literally was telling people to just say what you need to say. Your videos are short, snob. Clearly, this was a video that was aimed to say make more content like snob.
Yeah,
Short content,
by the way,
to the point.
I did make the same point about 2 weeks before he actually said it. So it's like, oh, he saw my video and now copies what I was talking about because he realized his mistake. I wonder. So
You influenced his drunken rant.
we cannot believe the rivalry that was born when we had that chat, and he completely thought that he owned me because he mentioned a review I wrote like 8 years ago and it had a few factual mistakes. Even though it didn't mean anything as a whole for the written review because, it's factually wrong what I said about that Gundam review. But it didn't change my opinions about the review. It was just a detail. And he says, ever since every Digibrony was like saying, he owned you because of that. No, he didn't.
Digibrony.
Just doing a completely irrelevant thing from something I wrote 8 years ago when I can just link videos he made 3 years ago about his brony shit. Nobody can say anything about it.
By the way, ITR in the chat says he likes the theory that Digi in the future travels back in time to Greece, shaves, and becomes that anime snob.
He wishes. I was never like that yet. I never liked My Little Pony.
I've never seen my life. No, but it's true with Digi. Like, I do like a lot of his analytical videos. Like, he does a good job. But then sometimes, like, he'll make a video about some small issue. It's like 50 minutes. And I'm like, man, I can't, spend 50 minutes watching this because he's just like talking with some other guy about it, right? So I do feel you there. I feel like, but some people would say, Snob, that because your videos are so short, you underanalyze. You just kind of say, this is what I think, this is why it's shit, but you don't consider counter arguments. What do you say to that?
That's why we have the comment section. And if somebody says something interesting, I will make a response video.
True, you
It's
do.
an introduction.
You do respond.
It's like
you do respond.
chapter 1. It's like chapter 1. What I'm talking about. If I have enough material to make a follow-up, I will. This is why I have the break apart type of videos, where I address whatever people say in the comments. So it's not like it's not an option. It is an option, but I often don't feel like it deserves to make another video about it. I just reply to the comments and that's it.
Yeah, and you do get under a lot of
Animac.
Yeah. Yep.
Thanks for having me, man. I gotta dip.
Bye-bye.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, bro.
Okay, Briggs from All the Anime, thank you for joining us.
Take it easy, everyone.
Mention that you did this, okay? Mention that you did this. I need more subs. Come on, shout me out.
I'll let people know about the stream.
Yeah, everyone,
I need more subs.
support Anime Uproar and his friends. They tore Snob a new one, and then they let him come back on and defend himself and get some of his dignity back. So yeah.
By the way, just imagine this, guys. If you think my book is average, how worse is everything else out there? I can just picture this thing. If my book is mediocre, how worse is everything else mainstream out there? Okay.
Well, that depends what you're comparing it on. I do think that there's a lot of mainstream that's trash. Cassandra Clare, whatever that woman is who wrote 50 Shades of Grey, that should never have been published in the first place. So that is.
I get why it was. I mean, we know why it was, but
Yeah, but sure, we'll go with that.
I mean, it's made some money, so
Yeah, but yeah, for the second book, Snob, we're gonna be looking for some more Damazis stuff. We want more fan service of ladies, and yeah.
Okay,
so
listen, you do get all that. Okay, anything you want is Damazis, and that was pre-planned. I'm not making notes right now to make sure I include it. Damazis is that guy you're looking for, but he was so much more mainstream. I didn't want him to be the lead in the first book. Okay.
Yeah, well, actually, he was interesting. He wasn't that mainstream. He was just interesting. Like, you could say that Chorrier is mainstream as much as Shinji and that douchebag Renton from Eureka 7, like, you know, those kinds of leads.
They're not that mainstream as Damase's type, in my opinion. The average shonen lead is like Damase's. It's not Chorrier. That's what I think.
I suppose, yeah, it depends on your target audience. Because, I mean, that's just it. Like, I felt the same that Animac did, is where I felt that it wouldn't, in terms of, like, you know, a traditional fantasy book or high fantasy, I didn't feel it was necessarily as cliche. But, yeah, I can see your perspective in terms of if you were an anime fan reading the book, then I could see how that could come across.
Yeah. Now, for example, the second book takes place pretty much in the same timeline as the first one. It just shows the point of view from other characters, like Damasis and a few others. And Damasis, unlike Chorrier, is not going to sit down and listen to everyone's history and backdrop and all that stuff. He's just going to be criticizing everyone. He's going to say, I don't care. Let's just rush to the action. Because he's like Naruto. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, that's my kind of dude, man. That's my kind of dude.
But you wouldn't get the world building. Now that you got the world building in the first book, you're just going to get the snarky remarks in the second one.
Excellent.
Which is shallow. And I didn't want that one to be in the first book. I wanted somebody else to be. And in the original draft, it was pretty much like a Game of Thrones, where all dozen different main characters do something in the same day, like chapter 1, day 1, chapter 2, day 1, chapter 3, day 1, because it just kept on jumping from one main character to another. It would take a dozen chapters just to pass one day. So I spliced it, each book to have its own main character, exactly so the plot can move forward faster. Each one of them offers something different to the world, and there is something for everyone, but I couldn't just have everyone in the book because it would be a bit of everyone and nothing much to take from. Okay, that was the Shinji Ikari book. Next one will be the Kamina book or something.
So you admit that this was Shinji Ikari and the next one's gonna be Kamina. Yes, you are using the anime upper lingo.
I'm just confirming the stereotype. I'm not really saying it.
Do we have an estimated time of release for the second book?
Half of it is already written down. It's just, I need somebody to proofread it. Because as much as I didn't like the editing, I did pay money for it to fix a few spelling and grammar errors. So at least that one will take a month, and I am halfway. And right now I'm not writing anything because I need to be motivated. Before that, I was just doing it because my Patreon was above $300 every month, and I was motivated because I was making enough money. But now I have to make three short videos every day just to get back most of what I was making a year ago, without having to make 3 videos every day, because my Patreon was very high. But then you know what? I said Ergo Proxy is not in my top 60 anymore, and whoa, there goes my Patreon. So I had to confiscate for that and then find out.
So we have come to the point where the snob is calling out his own fans on Rant Café. I like it.
Yeah. And if you think that I cannot just sit down and write the second book right now, it's not as easy because I keep on getting requests. To get the same amount of money, I have to keep on asking for requests, paid requests. And that means reading other people's books, making reviews about other people's books, and watching shows I was never intending on reviewing just because people pay me to review them.
Yes.
No, of course. Yeah, that's your job. And I mean, that's the only reason I was just asking for an estimated time is just to see if there's anything projected. Obviously, of course, with the nature of Patreon, you have to adjust here and there, especially for requests. So by all means.
Yeah. There is also the issue of if the book makes back its expenses, because although publishing the book on Amazon is for free, the money I paid for the proofreading and the cover were actual money I paid for it. And the sales so far didn't even make up for all the expenses I made for the book. So it's like if I make a second one before I even make back the expenses of the first one, what am I doing? I'm moving fast. I'm spending more money than I'm making. Well, why am I doing this? All this time
Absolutely.
I'm trying to promote my book.
Snob fans, support your overlord and buy his book. Link in the description, and give him your money. Also, we here reviewed his book for free, so if you want to support us by subscribing to us, we would appreciate it.
You got £6 right now? You got £6 of donations in this live stream so far?
Yeah, I think so. I think our boy Devil the Rebel gave us some donation.
Yeah. Okay. So also don't forget that I made a Spanish version, which took another month. I was dealing a whole month just for making the Spanish version, and
oh, wow.
I got nothing from it. I got nothing from the Spanish speaking world, despite being way more than the English one these days on YouTube. It's like nobody cares about it because I'm not.
The Spanish version has to have a lot more sex, Snob. That's just how it works.
Make it a little more spicy.
And wrestling. And people in masks wrestling.
The Spanish audience they want more passion, you know?
Yeah.
And the names need to be 10 times longer.
Yes. So when they read it to each other, it's more sexy, right? I gotcha. I feel you.
Yeah.
Chorrier.
We're asking if I could make a, how do you call it? A sound version of the book, like I narrate it or something. I don't want to do it alone. I want to find like 10 other guys who are willing to each one take a different role.
Okay.
Just me, you know.
You heard it here first. Snob wants to find 10 other guys. For his
If anyone's interested for narrating this shitty book, which is 5 out of 10, which still makes it 95% better than anything else that is modern out there.
No, I mean I meant 5 out of 10 in a good way in comparison to like mainstream books as well, like actual like popular series. Like I'm putting it on the same
Harry
level.
Potter
So
is mainstream. Are you saying my book is worse than Harry Potter?
it's not worse than the first Harry Potter. Harry Potter gets better later on.
Yeah, I know that it improves, quote unquote, in later books, although the plot holes kept increasing from one book to another. Now we have time travel, now we don't. So there are many other issues, okay? It's not like you can just say, yeah, my book is
Anime World says if you stop bashing every other anime YouTuber and your own fans, maybe they would give you more money.
Oh, so you want me to stop being the snob? You want to be the commoner? That's uncommoner?
sell out with me. Oh yeah, sell out with me tonight. The record company is going to give me lots of money, and everything is going to be all right.
Hello, my snubbits. I love you all very much. How are you doing? You're sitting dead right now. I love you so much. Be safe wherever you are. Cheer you. You. Oh my God.
Someone please
support me on Crunchyroll. Here are 5 ads in my 15-minute video, which I could just make it in 3.
someone please record him when this is up after. Record that and do something with it. Do some meme with Snob impersonating Chibi. I wanna see that. Yeah, by the way, I hope Get in the Robot Chorrier starts trending on Twitter after this stream because I think that was a pretty fun thing. But that's not you're a good sport, man. You're a good sport. We had a good time reading and reviewing your book. Like I said, guys, if you want to check it out, the link is in the description. And Snob also offers a discount. You offer a discount on your directly to your PayPal, right?
Yeah. $4 via Patreon, and then I mail it. 60 sales so far, if anyone cares, by the way.
So yeah, $4 if you want to just do it over his PayPal. 60 sales. Can we make it 600 by the end of tonight? Probably not.
Yeah, we can try.
I'll have the 3rd book ready by next month.
Yeah.
Bullshit! Now I'm on fire, baby. Start trying. Fuck the books. Fuck any other books. Fuck any other paid requests. I'm just gonna sit down and write my book.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of "Hello, my fellow snobbits," so that's trending in the chat too now.
Yep.
Oh, the people say I should stop using names, but then they're using them all the time. The recent one was like, please show us more of Uber Hikari drinking. Why is that a meme all of a sudden? They just like the idea.
Yeah, I started the stream off. I don't know if you were here, but I started the stream off with all the memes from your channel that I could think of.
Oh yeah, I did. You should have written down at least 1,000, man. Your notes were not as elaborate as you want them to be.
It's always just blank pages. I just pretend that I have notes, guys.
Just so like it whips them out. Yeah.
Let me just look at my notes. Let me just
a blank paper.
Oh, this doesn't even work.
I actually wrote down some notes. So.
Did you actually use those notes?
Yes, I did. Leave me alone. I don't know how to approach a book review. This is my first time doing one, so I wanted to try to handle it with at least not the full stupidity I go barging in normally with.
Okay.
By the way, Snob, do you watch CyanideBlizzard channel? Because if you don't, you should. It's awesome.
Oh, he does. Snob has
Hey,
actually been a legit story here. Snob has been probably the biggest supporter of the channel. When on my old channel, he promoted my content on a top 20 list, and I collaborated a few videos with him. And when I lost my old channel, I started a new one. He advertised for me when I didn't ask for it, didn't have to do it either, and really helped my channel gain momentum. So I know I owe a lot to him. I actually did an update video where I thanked him for that, because he's easily been the biggest contributor to my channel's growth. So I appreciate that a lot.
Good guy, Snob. Look at that.
Yay.
That anime softie.
Oh.
I support anyone who promotes critical thinking and is not a digibro.
It's not Digi, bro. Classic. Love it. Love it. Well, you do know I'm the best, Snob. You know I'm the best. You know you love me.
You're too young. You need a few years behind on your back corrections. Hey man, your anime news videos, I'm not a fan of that, okay? I don't like you just going over the best things you did over the week. I used to do that myself, but then I said, why would I wait a whole week to make a video about whatever I liked throughout this whole week, when I can just make small videos about each one of those things individually, you know?
Yeah, because I like to sum it up, you know, make some quality stuff.
It's the same logic of having many things going on in the same video. I'm not in favor of that. I prefer one video.
Well, just so you know,
no matter how short it is.
The YouTube algorithm is not friendly towards your format, because the YouTube wants you to have the longest views as possible. And when you have only a few minute videos, your average view duration is gonna suck. So you're doing yourself a disservice, according to the algorithm, at least.
Yes, because they changed it. If I change my style right now, I'm gonna be very slow and boring, and nothing's gonna be happening. And guess what? Even if I do that in 6 months, it's just gonna change the algorithm again, and it doesn't matter anymore. So who knows? Maybe in 6 months, the algorithms will be favoring me.
Well, may the odds be ever in your favor, Snob. But
Right?
Jon Snow is here. Jon Snow is here. I see him on your channel all the time, so that's cool.
Oh boy.
Yeah, now shit is getting real. We have Jon Snow and Kaiser Trigger in the same chat. It's gonna get crazy. We also have Chad versus Bad Manga asking, Snob, will you make a top list of terrible anime people should not watch?
There are so many of them. How can I make a top? I make videos about the tropes you shouldn't be watching in anime. So naming where exactly you find all those, I don't think a bad anime a list of bad anime will be worth it. I think a list of popular anime that not deserve their fame is more interesting. You know, like taking they're not these targets. These targets are so easy to just take a light novel and just say how bad it is. I don't think like making a list of why they are bad is going to make any difference. I think taking the popular ones and saying why they're not as good by analyzing each of their tropes individually is going to be more interesting for what I'm going.
Yeah, Jon Snow says Code Geass should be #1. Screw you, Jon Snow. Now I'm going to mention Sue Slime instead. Shout out to Sue Slime and not to Jon Snow. Whatever. What else do we have? Not sure. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Snob. You've seen Keijo, right?
Some, not all of it.
Why?
Some.
I thought
Some
Keijo was the most underrated anime of 2016. It was fucking hilarious, man. You can't critique Keijo. I will debate you live anytime on Keijo, man. That was amazing. That show was amazing.
It's a one-note series. You cannot debate it because there's nothing to debate about it.
But the note keeps giving, and giving. It's hilarious.
It's like watching One Punch Man. It's the same joke repeating in every episode. You know, there's
But
nothing
it's
else to
good.
it.
But it's a good joke. It works. It keeps working. You know what? Listen, you know, some people like stabbing people. I like watching Keijo, right? You know, people are different, right?
Yeah, you stab people and you're watching Keijo. I see the similarity. Okay?
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what they say, some people get an erection stabbing people, and some people get an erection watching Keijo.
You're either one or the other, apparently, here in this stream.
One of the two, yeah. Only those two exist. You must pick one. I know where I stand.
Gilgamesh, my boy, what's up? The king of heroes in the chat. Yeah. So anybody else have any big questions for Snob before we let him go to his bed or wherever, to his lair?
Or wherever.
I'm making short videos because I need to make 3 every day. To make back.
Yeah, yeah.
Not paying me on Patreon.
And by the way, it's like what time is it now where you are, Snob? Like 3
1
a.m.
in the morning. One in the morning.
1? Oh, okay. So it's not even too bad, but yeah. You stayed up, so you knew shit was gonna go down. So I respect that. Any other big questions for Snob? Because he doesn't do these streams. Because he's afraid.
Is Keijo better than Snob's book?
Mm.
Oh shit.
It has more plot.
Yeah, like Keijo, I enjoyed more in the sense that it has better plot, right? But Snob's book is a different type of enjoyment.
And
Will
enjoy-
Snob
when you say
actually
enjoy,
love
you
Sue
must
Slime? Will you acknowledge Sue Slime?
Yeah, Sue Slime, who will always find a way to be negative no matter what I'm saying. That's Sue Slime.
Yes,
But that
possibly.
creepy.
He's one of those guys that's like, fuck you, Snob, fuck you, but I actually love you.
Just kidding.
Jiro the Hero wants to know, who have you had the best debate with? Apparently you had some debates in the past with like Bob Samurai and shit.
No, we didn't have any debate with him. We didn't disagree, so we can have a debate. I think the one with Sound Euphonium was the most interesting one because it never derailed by some asshole mentioning some irrelevant review I wrote 8 years ago. So that was the most interesting because we were comparing Sound Euphonium with Backlash, how each one of them shows how you can be serious about something as trivial as learning how to play an instrument and stuff. That was the most interesting I can remember. Anything else? No. In order to call it a debate and not a discussion, we must disagree on something. And that's the most exciting, without having a boner, discussion I had.
That's fair. Psycho says, Snob, will you be roasting this stream? So will you be roasting our review?
No, there was nothing in it that deserves a roasting. It was a bit of random things, lots of filler, lots and lots of filler. I could just zip it down to 5 minutes if I wanted to, but I won't.
Bro, you know why we do the filler? Because then more people watch.
Ooh. But
More
I will
people get
roast your
tuned
book
in 'cause
if you
it's
ever give me
live.
notes. If you ever give me your book, I will roast it.
Okay, cool. It's a deal. I'm sending my book out to agents now, and then once I get a deal, hopefully,
It gets rejected.
I will absolutely send you a free copy so you can roast it, and I will do that to everyone.
So what? I can make a review before it's even out, printed. So,
Whoa, you
Well,
get
no.
the exclusive.
When the reviews start, because yeah, you do send out early copies, advanced copies to reviewers. I can always ask for copies for YouTubers as well. It's not a problem. But like once you get the deal done.
Yeah, can you send forward my book in case they're interested?
Yes.
So
Just slide it in there too. Like, hey,
No, I will. I will.
Like,
If
like
I
a side note, I have this guy who knows a guy who knows a guy.
right.
no, true. If I get a deal and I get connections in the literary world, why wouldn't I help a fellow anime YouTuber so you can, do something productive with your life instead of just making fun of poor Chibi and his hollow posters, man.
Yeah, man. Wait, how much money did you pay any money for your book to be? If your book gets published, will you pay any money?
No. If I get, because it's not self-publishing, if I get a deal, like a literary agent's like, I'm gonna sell your book, what happens is they only make money from the profit, a percentage of the profit. So they don't make anything from me, but they make a percentage from the profit that the book eventually makes once it's sold.
Okay, that's very nice. How many thousands of words is the length of your story book?
78.
78.
So it's close to yours.
I keep on hearing people saying, I keep on hearing people saying that nowadays, if your book is not at least 300,000, nobody's gonna publish it. It's insane. It's not Game of Thrones size.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah. No, it's not
I've
true.
I've read so many long books, especially Aragon. The last one it was huge. That's the big one I wrote, was the first Aragon. It was ridiculously long. It's so boring and empty. And saying, oh, it's so long, it gives a lot of time for the characters to. There was nothing going on. It was so boring. This is why I always prefer shorter stories, even if it's in a line of in a long line of books. I prefer them to be short stories, which move in a, in a line, of course. I want plot continuity, but not 300,000, so I can move from book one to book two. It's ridiculous.
From my research, I actually think I found that it's the opposite. At least that's what the agents tell me that I've talked to. They say for like a book in my genre, for a first novel, it should be like 80,000. It's only those already established authors that can then say, "Oh, I want my book to be 300,000," because the more words it is, the more money it is to print each copy because it's longer, right? So with first-time authors that are not proven yet, they don't want to take that risk. They want it to be shorter so they don't have to spend as much money printing the books.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I found. Also, David Surgo had a serious question for you. He says, would you continue as an author, or was this a spur of a moment hobby type thing?
Why I wrote the book?
Like, do you want to continue as an author in the future, or was this just like a spur of the moment kind of, I'm going to stick it to Misty kind of thing?
I don't have any plans for the future, and the reason I began doing it in the first place was because I kept on disagreeing with people on forums. And then they banned me from all known forums, so I had to begin my own YouTube channel and express myself a bit more freely. But then again, YouTube decided that you cannot be even more liberal there either, so they keep flagging your videos for honesty or something. Okay, it doesn't happen that much. We don't use footage, but that's the issue. That was the original reason of why I was doing it. I was disagreeing with everybody, and I wanted a platform where I could more freely talk about anything I wanted.
That sounds fair. Anyone else have any big questions for either Snob or anybody else in the stream before we wrap it up? Because we've been doing this for 2 hours now, guys. We're
in filler mode half the time.
We've just already done more than every Snob video put together.
All 1,050 so far.
Or like half of one DigiPros video, right?
Yeah. You should splice this live stream, if possible, in 2 parts. The part which is actually about the book and the part which is actually not about the book, the aftermath.
It just uploads on its own, and it just uploads on its own by itself with all the views already that we got counted for. Yeah, that's how it works. Okay. So it's gonna be just like a big thing. But if you want to timestamp it somewhere and put it in the comments, if you want to bother to look, I'll put like a timestamp in the pinned comment saying, if you want to hear Snob talk about his book, you can click here. After the technical difficulties.
I cannot wait to see someone trying to do that with DigiBros videos. You want to see when DigiBros said that 3 years ago about a particular thing, just listen to those 3 seconds in 2 hours, 53 minutes and 23 seconds. Who's going to make a timestamp for every topic he's making in his long-ass videos? Nobody. Yeah,
that's true. Like, if you're going all over the place, you can't timestamp that shit. That's true.
Yeah. By the way, most of the things he did say over the last 3 years have been contradicted in the last 2 weeks. It's like he no longer believes in them. Who are you to talk about Moya? What the fuck is Moya? It completely changed his ideas.
Elvis asks, what's your favorite book? My favorite book was always The Count of Monte Cristo, my favorite fiction book.
Ooh.
For me, it always was The Lord of the Rings. It's like from the moment I read it, there was nothing else coming anywhere close to it when it comes to fantasy. And second comes, if anyone cares, The Never-Ending Story.
Oh, I read that as a kid. Like I was like 10 years old. When, not even like 7 years old.
A book you cannot just read as a kid. You have to also read it as an adult and appreciate all the hidden messages it has. It's a lot more sophisticated than we give it credit for, and the movies do not do it justice.
Well, I do remember that when I read it as a kid, I thought it was amazing. The breaking the fourth wall stuff, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, well, that's things. How do you navigate to the maze or the doors by imagining which one based on how the door looks? That was brilliant. Or what's
very nice.
Democracy, a place where everybody's the same, and then somebody dies and nobody gives a shit because everybody's the same. Those were really deep ideas in that book. I love it. Course,
no, it's just it. I was always a fan of things that you can go back to as an adult and better appreciate now that you have a more worldly understanding. Yeah. I was like that when I read Frederick Pohl's Gateway. I wouldn't necessarily say that's a revolutionary book. The Heechee series in general isn't science fiction geared, but I was a big fan of the video game that came out at the time, and revisiting as an adult, I was able to better appreciate some of the things that were done in there.
I don't know if you know another book which is rather famous here in Europe, Sophia's World, which is like an entry to philosophy for young children. I read it.
Oh, yeah.
It was very eye-opening. But when I reread it as an adult, it's like, it's so basic after all. You know, it was nice to stimulate your imagination, but you cannot appreciate it as much when you revisit it.
Yeah, good point. I've heard of that book. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard good things. It's because I read actual philosophers, so I don't need to read that type of stuff. But
You read the actual thing.
I do. That's my thing. Reading the actual.
Plagiarizing and simplifies every known philosopher in history and makes this referential story about it, which it gets very meta towards the end. It breaks the fourth and the fifth wall together. It's good as a concept, but besides the references and breaking the fourth wall towards the end, there's nothing really much in it.
Yeah. And for the last question, since we've been at this for a while, Anbu asks, by the way, thank you, Anbu, for moderating the chat. Does Snob like Code Geass now? And he won't admit it, but I'm calling it right now. Chorrier's rise influenced directly by Code Geass.
I posted it 4 times so far, but nobody seems to be deliberately noticing. I said that Code Geass is a ripoff of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, so how can I like Code Geass when I like the much better variant, which is Legend of the Galactic Heroes? So no, I don't like Code Geass. I like the original, the older, because retro always wins.
Well, how can I like both? I like both. So how does that work, bro?
You're not smart enough. You're not critical enough. You don't mind the plot holes or you like Rule of Cool, even though it makes absolutely no sense. And you're not completely disappointed with how they're contradicting the ending for the sake of making a sequel.
No, because I always knew he was alive, bro. I do research.
Aha! You didn't knew it. You just believed it. It was an empowerment fantasy of yours.
I made a video saying this is why I knew he was alive the whole time, and it like goes through it. It's like a forensic fucking research, man. It's true. It's just like the video is like 15 minutes, so that's too long for you to watch. But it's fucking true.
It's not like they officially said he's dead or something. No.
That video has almost 100,000 views now, and like 2,700 likes, bro.
Not even my top list videos have that many.
Exactly, because
I don't think like the popularity that much.
My videos are empowering, Snob. They empower people.
They give them what they want. An excuse to have a third Code Geass. No, they didn't lie to me. It was always there.
I'm telling you, he was alive the whole time, guys. He was alive the whole time. We do it. But yeah, I like both. I also like Keijo. And I think, Snob, that I fear that you might become jaded, man. I think you're becoming jaded. You got to be able to enjoy something for what it is. You got to enjoy a lighthearted comedy for being a lighthearted comedy.
I enjoy it for what it is, but I'm not hyping it to be something that it's not. That's the difference between me and the average pleb out there. Keijo is fun, but that's what it is. It's fun. It's not a masterpiece. It's not a deconstruction of fighting shonen. Okay? It's not rewriting what it is to have fan service in your shows, because I was there when they were making this fighting schoolgirls back in the early 2000s. Ikitusen, remember? Remember Ikitusen? That was my first fighting schoolgirls show. It was pretty much the same thing with added characters from the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Oh, you should have seen the overthinking that show got.
Oh yeah, that's a bit of a show. There's Real Bout as well.
Oh yeah, Real Bout is even older, but it wasn't as famous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. I don't think Keijo was a masterpiece, but I think it's just so hilarious, and I love it because of, it knows what it is. It does it well. It's entertaining. That's why I love it. And people are just like, oh, this is so stupid, because they can't appreciate it because they're pussies. But the last thing I want to discuss is Jon Snow mentioned the Ergo Proxy meme. What is the Ergo Proxy meme, Snob? I'm not informed on that one.
Is X better than Ergo Proxy is the meme. Because I removed it from my tops, and since then everybody keeps asking, so you like this one more than Ergo Proxy? No, as if I hate it all of a sudden. I don't hate it. When it was in my tops, it was a time when modern cartoons didn't care much about the plot. It was like 3 or 4 years ago, before Gravity Falls and before Steven Universe and all those shows came out. There weren't that many series in the West that could compete with anything I liked in my top anime. Now that there are, I'm moving further and further away from anything that doesn't have an ongoing plot. And Ergo Proxy, as much as I like it as a whole, it just doesn't cut it when it comes to having a logic from one episode to another. Each one it's a standalone idea. And as good as it is, as a whole, many things that could just be in completely different order and going to make a difference. So, especially when the studio that made it closed down, you know how disheartening it is when the studio that made this very good show closed down by making Gangsta, you know, you have your top list, anything in it must be inspiring you. And when you have a show made by a studio that closed down by making completely nonsense for over a decade, besides Ergo Prox was their own good series, and everything else was shit or mediocre, you just feel, you just don't want to revisit it anymore. There's nothing much to gain from it. And there's so many good, better alternatives out there. When I was seeing Ergo Prox, I was feeling bad about it. It's like, why is it there? I'm not going to watch it ever again. I feel bad by being there because the studio made all those stupid mistakes and closed down Manglobe. So I had to remove it. I just had to. It wasn't feeling like it should belong there. And people must understand, my top list is the shows I personally like. It's not like the best series out there. Some silliness like, you know, like Advent Children. Why do people hate Advent Children so much? It's one of the best action CGI anime ever made. And so...
okay, that's fair. I understand. I personally liked Ergo Proxy, the philosophy aspects of it. I agree that the pacing and plot were sometimes like kind of what's going on here, but I liked it for the philosophy aspect. But Mushishi, I love. It's one of my top 10, and it can also be completely out of order, but it's brilliant. So I would have to say that is an example of a show that is not. It's episodic, I guess you would say, but it's brilliant.
I never appreciated episodic series that much. Ergo Proxy was in my tops exactly because it had an ending at the end. If it didn't, I wouldn't have put it there ever.
Loru Fangs is like, Advent Children is shit.
Yeah, it's always just...
You did this to yourself, Snob. You did this to yourself with your memes. But okay, thank you guys. I think we can wrap it up now. Thank you for joining the stream. It was a pleasure. It was fun reading Snob's book and roasting it and having him actually have the cojones, as his Spanish version book would say, to come into the stream and chat with us a bit. So yeah, thank you for joining us. You can subscribe here for more Rant Cafe every week, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe to CyanideBlizzard, Bryn from Bryn's Fandoms, and Briggs from All Day Anime. Of course, Snob has a channel as well, you might know, and where he makes videos. And yeah, if you want to check out his book, you can check out the link in the description too. Any final words, guys?
Eno is number one.
God damn it. God.
It's a reference to his Discord. Eno is a member in there that sounds very similar to Nyanners or Lily Pichu.
Oh, come on. Why do you like that shit?
No, like, Discord. We have a Discord that's popular. We have over 700 members, and then there's a lot of memes from there. And Cyanide just did us in with that. But yeah, the Discord link is in the description too if you guys like to chat with people such as we. It's
you have your own memes, I have my own, so...
Yeah, Snob doesn't want to come in our Discord because he's scared. He's scared.
Maybe I will, if I can milk some more money out of it. Yeah,
no, but it's always fun. We have a channel called Waifu Wars, Snob. You will like that. We have a Waifu Wars chat channel where we just talk about who's the best waifu.
Oh boy. I get tired of those. Back in the good old Big Freak days, I got really tired of those Waifu Wars. Like.
Oh, that's good fun. It's good fun. It's all in good fun. Okay. So yeah. Okay, so Bryn, why don't you tell the people who you are and what you do before we sign off?
Sure. I'm Bryn from Bryn's Fandoms. I do anime reviews and stuff like that on my channel, lots of anime content. It's been fun on the stream, just listening to all you guys in chat. You guys are crazy in chat, but a good crazy, the positive kind of crazy. So
a lot of comments were deleted though, but
yes, that is true. The really crazy ones were deleted. So yeah.
Yeah, and Bryn, we're going to be collaborating on a roast very soon, right? So if you're into the roast,
right, yes.
Yeah, for sure, check out Bryn. CyanideBlizzard, my man. And you should mention who was on your latest first impressions video.
Did a recent first impression video in which Rant Café decided to crash the first impressions, and then I got told off by Mackelnot, Bryn, and Animac here. So that was pretty delightful. Season finale there as well, where we watched Handshakers, which was an experience. By the way, we have a all-day anime donation, and he's already doing the finale immediately. He's saying bang.
Oh, thanks, Briggs. And we're gonna have to do it for you then. Bryn,
Mhm.
can you handle it?
Yes, I
Okay,
can.
sounds good. And my man Snob, any final words from you?
My book is better what to make it sound it is, okay? Just buy it and give me money, even give me more money if you like, because I just want to make back the money so I can make that second book. And if I make the second book, buying back, I'm gonna make a third one and a fourth one, a fifth one. I'll have someone keep writing until I die. Or you cannot just pay me and just expect me to make short videos about nonsense throughout the anime community. Kind of your way.
There you have it. The Snob says, "Why you no give me money, man? Why you no give me money?" But yeah, thanks again, guys. Always a pleasure. Stay tuned for more. And yeah, until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.
Bye bye.
Bang.